One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can't take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. Your game, but I love to be the one who gets played, yeah. There I go and I just fall again. Cause baby I like the way I'm loving you. I like the hell you put me through. I keep on chasing after you. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever. I like the things you make me do. You know how to make me like a fool. The way you smile, the way you move. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. You give me a fever again.
O.R.C.A crew, we are back. I am back, and oh my gosh, do we have a show for you tonight. Starting off... No, go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the rumors are true. Spencer Piccoli is Asian Santa Claus, coming to Disney Plus this fall.
Yes, it's true. Disney is expanding into cable TV and anime.
Salute to you, Helldiver. You kicked Sony's ass. Congratulations. I'll get it right eventually.
Honestly, major orders completed. The Helldivers 2 situation is one of the most insane things I think I've seen in a long time. Obviously, Cider has been covering it. We will definitely be talking about that. But before we get into any of that, my 1 week intro mess up aside, like I was gone for 1 week and I already don't know how to introduce myself. But aside from that mess up, yes, guys, welcome back to another Wednesday night, another episode of the 01 stream here at Bounding Into Comics. I am your host, site editor-in-chief, Spencer Piccoli. I am joined, as always, by our movie reviewer, Jacob Smith, our anime girl, Nerdigans Inc., and our all-around video genius, Cider Hype. And we have a lot to talk about tonight. I don't know if you guys have noticed over the past few weeks, it's been a little slow. We've had trickles of information coming out, not a lot of stuff, but oh man, as soon as Monday hit, everything blew up, whether it was video games, entertainment, comic books, every franchise from Star Wars to Marvel to DC, everything has had news just being thrown at us. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. As always, we'll do our best to get through what we can. But before we get into it, let us say hello to the chat. As always, we couldn't be doing this without you guys. Starting off, the first one here tonight was Ravul Arvita saying, "Hail all." Hail to you, my friend. Always a pleasure. Leslie is here saying, "Hail to all you lovely people." She says, "Saw the new Twisters trailer. The movie will be a glorified Dodge Ram commercial with a couple tornadoes thrown in for fun." Is there a new trailer aside from the one Yeah, dude, like, is there a new trailer other than that Super Bowl? I think it was Super Bowl, but like that first one they showed, that is like product placement, the movie. And I don't know why they're doing another, like, that's this is a case of like, oh, you guys remember Twister? Like, this is member berries. Like, you remember this? Give us your money. Come on, give us your money. You want to see tornadoes?
Let's do a reboot of a remake of Twister. It's like, oh, can we bring back Bill Paxton? No. Can we bring back Hell? No. It's like, what about Philip Seymour Hoffman? No.
No.
Reboot.
Well, like, here's the thing: they're gonna reboot. This first one's gonna fail, but they're gonna go, oh, we want a sequel. We can probably do it, and that's when we're gonna get our Kiki Palmer, Simu Liu, like reboot of Twister. Like, I know it's
racially
coming.
ambiguous Twister movie.
Touches in China.
Well, you might as well watch the tornado live streams on YouTube. In that
Those
case,
those are better. Like, to me,
way more
watching those, because like they're not like CGI. The CGI in that new Twister trailer is Ant-Man and the Wasp levels of bad, like, or Quantumania levels of bad. Like, it is.
You know what's
bad.
So there was a show on Discovery Channel years ago. You might remember. It was called Storm Chasers, and it was about a TV show about legitimate storm chasers. Now, on one hand, I believe half the people who were on that show are now dead, unfortunately. So that goes to show just how dangerous it really is. Job. But it's like, okay, well, we have a realistic take on what storm chasing actually is. Like, how come nobody looked at that show and be like, how can we do a Twisters movie that at least somewhat looks like this? That is like a complete CGI like rip off. It's like, nope, we're gonna do double Twister, baby.
Yep. That, like, it is literally like one Twister, and then somebody goes up to the drawing board and just draws like an S, like Twisters, and they're like, oh, and they put the dollar sign through
it's like the Twisters at the fusion dance, like in the middle of like Oklahoma. We're Twister.
They could just
Disappointed!
They literally could just ride along with some of these actual storm chasing live streamers, or just watch the live streams and learn about them. It's really fun watching them and like just being in the chat rooms with them while watching the streams. It just makes it even more engaging.
Well, that is true, but that. Or go ahead, Cider. Yeah, go ahead.
The tornadoes don't make dinosaur noises in real life.
Yeah. That's literally what I was going to say. It's like, those are really cool and they are informative, but like, what is there for the normies? Where big explosion? Where car being thrown around?
I thought tornadoes made dinosaur noises. I feel lied to.
The closest I've ever gone to a storm chaser situation was about almost 5 years ago. I was driving from Mississippi to Louisiana. Oh no, it was Texas to Louisiana, and right at that borderline there, major like tornado warning. Like, I could see like the tornado warning and like all the cars are on the interstate flashing at the same time. So we're driving into a rain-wrapped tornado at like 15 miles an hour because one, we literally can't see what's in front of us, and two, we don't know what direction the tornado is coming at us from. So we just thought to a point, it's like, well, do we just keep driving in this? Because I mean, we have no idea at this point if we're driving like directly into it or if it's going the opposite way. So it's like we have to pull over for like a good 40 minutes just to make sure that we're
just
going
like
right in the path. Yeah.
Gosh, like I'm lucky enough. I've living on the West Coast for most of my life, and then a little bit in Illinois. Like, I've never had tornado. I've had storms. I've had like in Illinois, I've had really, really bad like rainstorms and snowstorms, but I've never had tornadoes. So I'm lucky in that regard. But man, I could not imagine trying to drive through that, because I mean,
a tornado is bad enough as it is, but at least you can like see it coming. If it's rain wrapped, it's like you're basically like rolling the dice on your life at that point.
You don't if it's rain wrapped, you don't realize you're in it until you're in it, and you're like, oh, this is a tornado.
And
okay,
you can't see like
screwed.
what direction it's coming from or like how close you are from it. If you don't get in further, it's like it's just an absolute mess. So unless you have like a radar on you right at that moment, there's literally no way of knowing like where it's going, where it's coming.
See, and like, look at this, guys. The story that Jacob just told you is more excitement and more entertainment than you're going to get from the new Twisters movie. Like, hands down, absolutely. I guarantee it. Let's see. Continuing on with everybody who's here, we have RJ McReady saying somehow the bar in regard to James Gunn's new movies is set lower than it was already. Honestly, we will get into this, but I think all of us are sort of on the same preliminary page where that shot is not great and that suit is not great. And it is like the least inspiring piece of promotional art you could have, or the least inspiring promotional image you could have released for this movie. And yeah, we will talk about it because it is bad. That fake image of Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner going around is more exciting than that actual photo of Corrin Sweat as Superman. But we will get into that.
Yeah.
We also have Eccentric Banana saying, "What up, peeps? Banana is here. Get on the boat, the banana boat. We are here. We are happy to have you. We are ready for our potassium." Volume Dealer says, "I am the void." And Leslie Headland has a mid-jot face. Dude, there's acolyte news to talk to if we want to get into it. I mean, not real news, but we know it's going to be bad. What were you saying, Cider?
Mm.
Oh, I totally
talking, not me.
Oh, I totally thought somebody was.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've been seeing that in Mufasa getting downvoted into oblivion.
The Mufasa thing. Nobody wants that movie. Like, nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted a prequel to The Lion King. Nobody. Again, this is like what Disney does nowadays, right? They give you origin stories for everything. When that movie comes out, we're gonna get an origin story for like Zazu. We're gonna get an origin story for Pride Rock. We're gonna get an origin story for the stupid the like rib cage prison that Timon is held in. Like, we're gonna get all these dumb origin stories because that's all Disney knows how to do. Because then they can go, "Oh, remember Pride Rock from the movie? Don't you want this Pride Rock collectible?" And somebody out
Pride
there
Rock origin story.
Look, all of this
is
just
Geo, right, from Star Wars.
All of this is just
gay pride. They'll say the Pride Rock is gay or something stupid.
That's coming. That will absolutely be coming.
Look,
I
guys,
know that.
We all know at this point it's just canon fodder till they can get to the point where they can get Beyonce's daughter to play Nala in the next Lion King spinoff. We all know it's gonna happen.
How dare you? I know you're right, and that's the sad part. Is like you are 100% right.
Beyonce's
it's sort of like
playing Nala.
No, but it'll be Nala's daughter because she has a daughter in like the sequel movie, so now they'll just start adapting the sequels that for some reason are popular.
Sequels?
I
like the directed video ones.
Good.
Yeah, like there's like Lion King 2, Lion King 1.5. Like there's a couple
what are they
of them.
about? What are you?
Cider just now discovered that there's Cider just now discovered there's more than one.
Like, what is wrong with you?
I was surprised to learn that there is a sequel to Beauty and the Beast, and there is also a Titanic 2. I learned that thanks to JonTron. There's a Titanic 2, and I'm like, now to find out that there's like, what, 4 Lion King movies out there somewhere?
Well, to be fair, like, in the DVD home releases, 1.5 is and Simba's Pride are the better ones, and 1.5 is a midquel from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective, and it's really, really funny. Like that one is definitely better.
All of this absolute dog crap coming out of Disney. You know, you're not gonna get a spinoff of, or a remake of, or a reboot of Homeward Bound, baby. If you don't have that in your VHS, you are shit out of luck.
You're gonna get a reboot of that, but it's gonna be all CGI, and it's gonna be like Aquafina and Kevin Hart and John Cena. There's your voice cast.
No, just re-release Homeward Bound on Blu-ray, and you will be happy.
I don't think
they won't do that.
They won't do it because Disney's a bunch of assholes that don't know what the fans want. At least Warner Brothers is doing some releases for like Dexter's Lab now, and we're getting a DVD-R release for Powerpuff Girls now. I mean, they're doing something.
You're looking at a bigger problem here. You're looking at a Milo and Otis problem. Is that I think Homeward Bound had a teensy-weensy bit of animal abuse going on in there, and I think Disney's like, haha, Song of the South. There we go. And that's what they did with Homeward Bound, is they were like, we're not acknowledging animal abuse. We have no idea what you're talking about.
But there's like no virtue signal point off of Homeward Bound, right? They can't be like, oh, we're vaulting this to be progressive. Yeah, they can't do that. So they're just like, we're going to quietly hope people forget our crimes. We're just going to shove that right over there really quick.
Please do not give them any ideas about homosexuality in the animal kingdom. They will do it.
No, we don't need another Baldur's Gate.
It's all natural in every other animal, blah, blah, whatever that is.
You're going to find out that Mufasa was gay the whole time, and he had to pretend to be straight and have Simba in order to hold up the crown. That's what the whole movie is going to be about.
He had to lash out at our heteronormative society that wouldn't allow him to be
exactly. He couldn't be a gay lion. He had to be a heteronormative Lion King.
No. That will happen, but it won't be Mufasa. That will be Scar's story in the movie.
Well, that's true.
When we get to Lion King,
evil.
When we get to Lion King, he's sympathetic, and everybody can go, "Oh, it wasn't his fault. It was society. He's okay."
No, Coco was Scar's son, though. I thought. Hold on.
He is, but what does that matter? Like it literally, how many characters have we seen in comic books or video games or movies who are like, they have a kid, they've had past relationships. Oh, never mind. They are not just bi, they are full blown like gay, like Iceman. Like that's the best example when Iceman, you know, at the point where Jean Grey, where Iceman was brought out of the timeline and had his mind screwed over by Jean Grey, he was like in relationships with women. He was actively trying to get with Kitty Pryde. Like he was all in on them.
And he wasn't having sex with men.
He was not. But then all of a sudden it just took one writer to go.
You just hear the theme song of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. And that's all anyone remembers Iceman for now.
Yeah, instead of the X-Men theme, it's the Queer Eye theme every single time.
Is it bad that I can't get the Crab People remix now stuck in my head? That's the first thing I think of now. Every time Queer Eye is brought up is the Crab People remix from South Park.
I can't even remember it, but I'm sure you are absolutely not alone in that.
Because it's either that theme song or it's the "It's Raining Men," which is always my go-to stereotypical gay theme song.
That's my go-to stereotypical one too. And I just can't hate it. Yeah. Let's see. Yes. Going back to the chat real quick. I see you guys are moving. We should get moving. We should say hello to everybody else. We have hey, it's me and HD is here tonight. Asking where is DZ3? DZ3 is here. We see him. He was late, but hello to DZ3. Can't be a show without either of you two. We have Ying Ching Lao saying, "What's up, guys? Hey, nice to see you." I think maybe this might be the first time I've noticed you in the chat, but then again, I'm always distracted because I'm running the show. But nice to have you. Always awesome to see a new viewer. We hope you're ready to be blackpilled on everything entertainment related, because nothing great happened this week at all.
I mean, the white pill is that everyone in entertainment is running around with their heads on fire, panicking that they're not making money.
Oh man, that is like the greatest thing right now. Like everybody in Hollywood is crapping their pants. I don't even know where to start. Like the one I want to bring up, and I know it's like only tangentially related, but it's sort of relevant to what's going on. But according to the latest rumors on the street, right? Like we all know the Kendrick Drake beef that's been going on, right? Like it's all Twitter's been talking about, whatever. But apparently the like record labels behind all of them are like really, really unhappy, and they're like scrambling because they're like, dude, Kendrick
make money off of this.
It's that, and they're like, Kendrick just straight up called Drake an Epstein. I don't know like what words get flagged on YouTube anymore, but he called Drake an Epstein, and now like people are like not buying things that Drake has endorsements with. He's losing money, and the record labels are like, guys, like we gotta do something. And I'm sitting over here like,
Drake's like, I never slept with Millie Bobby Brown, and everyone was like, no one even said her name. It's Stranger Things. Here we're talking Stranger Things, but yeah, the whole beef, like Kendrick's like, oh yeah, you're an Epstein, you like, you know, younger girls, and didn't name anybody. And then Drake comes out with a song and he's like, oh, why you talking about Millie Bobby Brown? I didn't do anything. And everybody's like, nobody was talking about that. Like, why'd you bring it up? Keep in mind, just in case you guys don't know the backstory of this, Drake started a friendship with Millie Bobby Brown when she started the Stranger Things show when she was 14 years old and he was 29.
Sounds like our
You serious?
It's very R. Kelly, isn't it?
Yeah. Did he pee on her?
Not that we know of.
I mean, not yet, but like aside from like the Millie Bobby Brown thing, like there's just all this like evidence of Drake being like a creeper and like hitting on girls when they were under. I don't know. It's all, again, this is not necessarily the show for this. Jacob broke it down last night on the Barroom podcast. I would recommend go checking out that show for a deeper dive. I just wanted to laugh about that Millie Bobby Brown line because it's been making me like crack up for the entire week, because it's like, stop. Nobody said it. Said it. You completely told on yourself.
I guess you guys haven't heard the news yet, but YouTube has a new AI function for premium users that analyzes what's going on in a stream. So when you drop in on the stream, it gives you a nice little paragraph and says they're currently talking about this stream is currently about this. So guess what? Someone just dropping in has found out the stream is currently about Drake having sex with Millie Bobby Brown before she was of age.
Well, with that, that kind of discussion, will probably be all four of us will have late night show deals next week. Like, don't worry, this is exactly what they want, right? But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to touch upon that really, really quick because I am dying at it the entire time. But
I wish Drake only touched upon it really quick.
Oh my gosh! Oh, and here we go, guys. But yeah, there goes the stream. No, but yeah, if you guys want to check it out, Jacob did a breakdown of it last night. Not, it's in development, yada yada yada. This is not a hip hop show by any means. I think literally only one of us is really qualified to talk on hip hop here, and he hasn't listened to hip hop.
I'm too tired.
Yes, it is Cider. Cider is the one who I was talking about. An original member of NWA is on this stream.
You got it. Neighbors with attitude.
Well, I mean, at this point, someone's gonna do one of those little like photoshops, and instead of like Easy E is gonna be Cider with the LA Raiders cap on.
Yes. Or the what is it's like the Easy cover where he's got like the gun. It's his first album. It'll be that cover.
Like, in all honesty, like if you just got like a black bubble coat and like an LA Raiders cap on, you could just be Easy for Halloween.
White Easy, huh?
Yeah.
Wheezy E. There's no way that's going to go over terribly with everybody on the internet.
Forever.
Yeah, it's me in HD says Cider does have the Easy E style gloves. You're already halfway there. That's pretty much it. Now you just need the gloves and the hat. And
all you have to do is the caption is just repping for the dead homies. That's all you got to do.
Yes, eccentric, but yes, I saw that from Banana. Easy C. Yes, forever. That is incredible, eccentric. I love that. But
we're gonna put Photoshop Nerdigans as DJ Ren or MC Ren.
DJ Nerd. It's Ren, but like Nerdigans, it's backwards. I can see it. Something is there. Somebody is smarter than me. Make a good joke about that. But if we before we keep going and we turn this into as Leslie pointed out, bounding with attitude, let's get into some pop culture news. Let's see what's breaking down in Hollywood and entertainment this week. Cider, I'll let you pick. I have no idea what to talk about first. We have a million things, and all of them are worth it.
This one kicked it off over on the Bounding Twitter page. Japan executives admits anime industry is making a shift toward more acceptable expressions in order to appeal to a wider audience. Nerdigans, you brought us this story. What's up?
I didn't think it was going to go as viral as this, as it has, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like even some of the big AniTubers are talking about it. I actually talked about it on my YouTube channel before I even wrote it because I wanted to, brainstorm it. But basically, what's going on with Disney Japan / Disney Plus is what they said they wanted to expand on their Japanese content, and they're getting. And I talked about this with Netflix before. Is they're getting into the streaming market. This was in 2021 when they started. And they started off obviously with their exclusives like Summertime Rendering, and people were all pissy about that because it was in streaming jail. And it was basically going to be revitalizing their Japanese content, which was anime and live action content. And then it expanded even further than that. And something that Iwata said that really stood out, and the article pointed this out, was that they were focusing more on the statistics and of viewers. And what I thought was weird is they're talking about Star. They're not talking about Hulu or anything. And they were talking about the growing North American market. I'm like, wait a minute. It's got to be talking about Canada, right? Because
nope,
we don't have Star. We only have Hulu for some reason. And they were saying that they were trying to cater more, have more content cater to the North American market because, we like different things more than, say, like the Asian markets. And I'm trying to think of the right way to word this.
That they're trying to gay up my anime with Americanized nonsense.
I wouldn't say they're trying to gay it up, but they're trying to they're just trying to expand their library. And the thing that I was worried about when I, was reading it, the interview originally, was that they're trying to cater more to that. But the thing is that that doesn't make me as concerned and makes me feel a little bit better is the partnerships that they have now with Kodansha. Because Kodansha, for those of you that don't know, is a publisher that Disney partnered with back in the 1950s, and they do make, you know, manga with Kodansha, like Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. And a lot of the anime coming out that is, you know, manga to anime adaptations, really popular one is Ranger Reject. And because of that, and what he said was they don't have any criteria in regards to the anime that they, you know, decide to put on Disney Plus Star. It kind of does make me feel a little bit better, especially in comparison to, say, like what Crunchyroll is trying to do. Because what Crunchyroll is trying to do, or I should say, Perini straight up admitted that he has sent people over to Japan to manipulate what the animators are doing. Disney, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case at all. From what I understand, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. Kodansha is doing their thing. You have the studios. He's letting the studios doing their own thing. I don't think there's any American influence on there as of yet. Minus what Bleach is a whole different situation.
So hold on, Nerdigans. I think we're sort of getting a little off track here, because it's not the crux of the story is not necessarily that Disney themselves are doing anything to anime, because that's not what he said. Because you're right, in the interview, right. So in this interview, which is it was an interview given by the head of Disney Japan, or Disney Plus Japan Animation. So they're the ones who work with licensing. They're the ones who are in charge of the content on the Disney Star service, which, like Nerdigan said, is it's not in the West. It is like East Asia.
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's like everywhere but the West, right? Like, is it in Europe? Is it in Europe?
Yeah, it's in Europe. It's in Canada. It's just not in the US.
It's not here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it is a like specific anime Japanese streaming service that Disney runs. It has like J-dramas, live action movies, anime. In America, it's on Hulu. Who knows why this is? That's one of those weird corporate things that we could probably find an answer to, but it's probably not that exciting to really learn about. But while there is, so what Nerdigans was saying is that during this interview, the Disney executive, his name is Takuto Yawada. Yawada was basically asked, you know, give me a read of the current anime market. Like, what is going on with you guys? Like what is your, you know, especially in this age where streaming is a giant thing, just give me your basic read of everything that's going on. So what Yawada said was basically, you know, in days past, we would, you know, try to balance, you know, licensing and producing works that, you know, on one hand, these works would appeal to Japanese audiences, and these works were more for North American audiences. And the reason they were doing that was because of release schedules, right? If Japanese, like a series that Japan is a big fan of and America's not a big fan of comes out, you spend all that time to do the dubs or whatever and release it, and it doesn't do well. Well, as a company, you're shit out of luck until the next release comes by, and you got to hope that it's going to hit with everybody. So that's what he was talking about in terms of what content were we looking at, you know, what were we trying to do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, now, I think what he was saying, this was before, this was a few years ago. This was really before the simulcast were big. This was way before just as simulcasts were coming in to their own.
And sort of,
there we go.
Right, and you're exactly hitting it on the head, and that's what he sort of got to. That was how it was in the past. Nowadays, with simulcasting and, you know, digital technology, you know, like internet communication, and everything is faster, we don't have to really worry about, we're looking to this market, we're looking to that market, yada yada. From there, the interviewer from the Japanese news site he was talking to, Mantan Web, asked him, well, in that case, is there anything in general the anime industry is are you guys changing anything for these international audiences now that, you know, you're not sort of splitting up content, but you're sort of, you know, giving everybody the same thing? And Yawada basically answered, he went, well, no, it's a very corporate answer. And if you've read the article, you know exactly how wishy-washy and sort of bullshitty it is. Yawada basically said, no, I don't think anime is changing. All the storytelling and all the action that people like about anime, it's still there. That's what you get. You want the high blitz, speed, and you want the explosions and the flashy energy attacks. It's all here. That's anime. However, right there, we are starting to, what was his exact quote? I want to get it up right here just because I want you all to take home the right information. He said, quote, I don't think there has been any major shift. The fundamental storytelling, the precisions of the action, etc., have not changed. But there may be a shift toward adopting more acceptable expressions. In order to be seen by many people, expressions that do not hurt or mislead people should be taken for granted. That is not a negative thing, but perhaps an evolution. When videograms were the focus, there was a tendency for only those who wanted to buy them to do so. But our awareness is changing because we are now distributing to a larger marker through a larger market through a service that can be viewed at any time by adults and children alike. So if you read between the lines there and you cut through all the corporate bullshit, essentially what Iwata is saying is that because anime is now more widely distributed and people can access it more, it's on these streaming services. If you're at home, there's a chance your 14-year-old nephew or niece can be scrolling through Hulu and go, oh, there's something I want to watch. There's an anime. Same with Netflix or anything else of any age range. Like, it's just out there now. And so what he's basically saying is all the stuff that was sort of, niche in anime that anime fans like. So, like your ecchi content, or maybe your more overtly bloody, violent content, like you see in stuff like Blood Sea, that sort of stuff, because it's more readily accessible now, they are self-censoring. The Japanese creatives are going, oh, we don't want to put this in our series because it won't be played and it won't be liked overseas. So while there isn't any edict, this is the problem, or this is basically the end game of this entire notion that nobody is actively making you censor anything, right? Nobody came down and said Disney or nobody came to the anime industry and like legally, officially with like a crown on their head said, anime, no more of this. It is illegal. We're going to fine you. Like, none of that ever happened. What happened was a bunch of people got up on their bullshit and said, oh, I see an anime boobie. That's offensive to women. That's causing violence to women. We need this to end. We need to censor this or whatever. And then when people call for that, and that rhetoric is given attention by mainstream outlets, and not just like Kotaku, but the IGNs of the world, the MSNBCs, the CNNs, like we all know here, right, that a lot of these outlets are partisan bullcrap. But for the rest of the world, they're not as in tune to our news as we are, right? If we went to, I don't know, pick any country, Spain, we would turn on the news. We would have no idea what channel we're watching on. Are they conservative? Are they liberal? Are they actually conservative? Are they like, we would have no idea because it's just not our culture.
The only way we could tell is the hammer and sickle. That would be the only way.
Well, I mean, but that's everywhere, right? That's everywhere over there.
But devil's advocate here, real quick, because the thing is, this is what I got from his quote, is that in terms of acceptable, you got to understand what Disney has to, and a lot of these streamers have to deal with, and not just that, just the anime studios have to deal with. They have to deal with broadcasting laws in other countries as well, like the Middle East and stuff like that, because that's where a lot of these anime are going, and China and everything like that. So I think he kind of is referring to that more than anything, because from what I know, this is what my Maniplex Insider has told me anyway, is that the studios themselves, outside of maybe like stuff heading towards specific countries with really like strict broadcasting laws in terms of like censorship, they don't really do anything. So that's why I'm like, okay, what is said here, it just makes sense for more so in terms of appropriateness. I think he's talking about countries like China or the Middle East or, well, Europe. I don't think Europe you don't have to worry about. Europe is very open. And
no, they're not. No, they're not.
When it comes to like sexuality, oh yes, they are. Europe is
not when it comes to anything. Or go ahead, Jacob.
I was going to say, not now that Islam's spreading. Definitely not now. Go ahead.
The second caliphate. No, but the thing. So Nerdigans, my point against it, and I do want to hear what Jacob says, but I want to hit what you're saying real quick. The point here is not like, I disagree. I don't think that he's talking about, oh, we've got to be careful for countries like the Middle East or China where our stuff might not get aired, because he doesn't say anything about that. He very clearly says, quote, we were making films for people who could buy videograms. Videograms are still around today, of course, but streaming distribution has become more common, and the target audience is no longer limited to the domestic market. So in that, with all of that in mind, that to me isn't, oh, we're censoring ourselves to stay, or to keep ourselves, whatchamacallit, like, in the good graces of the Middle East or in China, because we've seen before too, that when companies want to do that, if they have content that isn't acceptable by whatever stupid Islam laws they have over there, they'll just cut it. I mean, we saw it with like Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game, all the pride flags were replaced with American flags in it. The LGBT content is cut all over the place.
Straight up out of Star Wars for China.
Yeah,
like
right.
that dude just got gone.
Just
like,
he's only in it when they can't cut him out of the scene, like when he can't be airbrushed.
You're
when he's
seeing
right
two
there.
things. You're seeing two things happen here. You're seeing one hand, like I said, the death of creativity thanks to globalism,
Yes.
because now it's like, well, we can't do our own vision. We can't do what we want to do with a certain property because, hey, China might not like this, or hey, Saudi Arabia may frown upon this, or hey, maybe there's half the population of the United States that doesn't like this. So we have to make sure that, because we have to, excuse me, because we have to be for everybody. Right, it's a matter of time, but no, because we have to be for everybody. That this is essentially the game that we have created as a result of this.
Right.
And then, like I said, I've talked about this many times before here on this show. It's like, when it comes to the censorship angle, they have tried to infiltrate Japan for so many years and have utterly failed to do so. So now it seems like they're just changing essentially their strategy here. It's not that, oh, we're going to change Japan for it. It's like, no, we're going to convince the Japanese market that, hey, guys, if you want to promote your stuff here in the United States of America, hey, people here are sensitive to this type of thing and sensitive to that type of thing. So it's like these people out in Japan are, it's like, well, we want to market our stuff to the United States. And, well, if the U.S. doesn't like, sexuality or sexual content, we got to tone that down. Or, hey, maybe this is a little too violent and, we want that American money. So let's tone it down for the sake of making money, which is, like I said, another victim of globalization all over the world.
Well, the other thing that needs to be kept in mind as well is in terms of Japan, because remember, a lot of these, the majority of anime is still shown on TV. Japanese TV broadcasting laws have gotten way stricter.
Right.
Why? I don't know. But they've gotten way stricter, and the only way to truly get like a full uncensored version of anime, even on ATX, they're not as uncensored as they used to be. But you have to get it on Blu-ray now. That's
that is correct. But I also think you're sort of conflating two different things here, right? Because there is censorship when it comes to airing things on TV, and that's where we get the TV cuts of films, right? Where what is it, Die Hard, where it's the sandwich board he wears in the middle of the street, like it says I hate N-words in the original version, but on TV it says like I hate Mondays. It says something stupid, like not even close to it. Or Snakes on a Plane.
Just blur it out. I mean, we know what it says.
Right? Like do something like that. And then hold on. And then like in Snakes on a Plane, the original line is, I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. On TV, it is, I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane, right? So that is a separate issue. And what that is that they've already made the original product. They said, this is the one I want. Here is my creative vision. It exists. The TV people go, okay, if you want it to air on TV, like just in this specific time slot, we're going to have to make a concession. And in those cases, when you're making edits for TV airing, it is, like Jacob and Cider were just saying, it's blurring things out. It's cutting scenes. It's maybe like cropping the scene a little more so that nudity doesn't show up. It's things like that can, get it through. The issue is that these companies, this censorship isn't coming in at that level. This is the companies going, we don't even want to put any of this into our work because it is eventually going to get us in trouble. So now instead of going, oh, I want to draw this, really attractive anime woman in a, fighting a monster. If you want to air it on Cartoon Network, on the Toonami slot, we're going to have to, cover her up with some extra frames or whatever. And they go, okay, fine. It's not that anymore. Now they're just going, we're not going to put it in at all. they are self-censoring because of what Jacob said. They have been convinced that by all the higher up propagandists, whether it's the mainstream media, whether it's the mainstream corporate. What's up?
I gotta interject this because I study Japanese culture a lot, so I don't pay attention a lot to what's going on with these individual people and their poking and prodding of what they're doing with their businesses. I like to watch what their culture's up to, and Nerdigan's brought up the censorship that's going on right now in the TV, and that ties into this situation that we're seeing here. Is that as the Japan ages, so too are their morality shifting with that. Older people tend to be a bit more reserved. They tend to be a bit less ready to see a half-naked teenage girl spinning around as a sailor suit forms on her. You know, they tend to be more leaning into family values, like Spy X Family are things that they kind of want to push harder and kind of want to pull the sex attitude out of that. Meanwhile, the government's like, we need children, and we need to remind people that they're like involved in that process. They kind of forgot. We did our job too well in the 90s. So you got these two different conflicting things that have hit each other in this interview. This interview completely underlines what's going on in Japan, exactly the problem they have. Homeward Bound, like we were talking about earlier with that movie, Homeward Bound in Japan, right? They're like home life. We need to have children. We need to enshrine what it is to be Japanese so we can survive all these foreigners coming in and settling. Meanwhile, the corporations are saying if we want to pay for all that, we got to make sure that we're selling to the Americans who are our biggest buyers. Yes, China spends more in the sense of like how many people are buying, but the US spends more per item. And so they make more money off of us per DVD sale than they do the Chinese. And so they really want to hit us like really solidly. The trouble is that costs them their domestic market almost entirely. And that's why
I mean, no, you're completely
too, in terms of
go ahead.
how licensing works for anime. So when you have like streaming services buy the licenses, they're buying the license to the television broadcast. That's why I brought up the broadcast. They buy the license for the television broadcast. So in terms of like an uncensored version, for example, for Gushing Over Magical Girls, you have to buy a separate license for that.
You're missing. Hold on, you're missing the Cider. I'm gonna address. No. There are two different things at play here, and I think you're sort of missing it. We're not talking. The problem isn't when anime is taken and aired on TV, and they have to go, oh, we're going to censor this one, but you can get it uncensored on Blu-ray later on. The problem is they are airing away from even putting in any content that might have to be released uncensored on DVD later. That is the issue here. They are self-censoring at the base level because, like Cider said and Jacob said, they've been convinced by everybody in the West, whether corporations, mostly corporations in the media and stuff, that this is what is popular, or like you cannot sell over here in the West or in other markets without this. So instead of going, okay, we'll make our work and then you guys can censor it for the broadcast, but the work is still here and can be accessed, they're going, okay, we will make sure our work doesn't have any problems. We're going to shave off all the edges so that it goes up completely fine and we get no backlash from anybody, because the issue really isn't I have to go get it uncensored somewhere else. We've all dealt with that forever. We all, as human beings, understand the concept of like appropriate audiences, right? Like we can't just have like Akira playing on Nickelodeon 24/7. But the problem is nowadays, if somebody were to make Akira, they're going to go, okay, take away all of the sexual stuff, take away all of the blood stuff, make sure there's nothing here that can offend any of the neo-progressive ideologies that we're being told are the right or like the current popular thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's also put it this way too, and I've been to one anime convention in my lifetime, emphasis on one. And
I was gonna say,
let's just say,
I'm surprised you're even admitting that.
if the people who frequent those spheres, let's just call it that way because we're on YouTube, the people who frequent those spheres are, let's just say, the American representation of what Japanese people think anime fans are, it's not exactly helping our case either.
I mean, that's the case with everything. It's always the worst representatives are the ones that people go, oh yeah, that's who we need to cater to. Because it's like, yeah, you're right, Jacob. Like they look at those insane anime fans and they look at the ones on Twitter, you know, the Katrina Leonidicases, right? Nerdigans, or like all the people you cover on your account. Those are the people who unfortunately have the ear of the people in Japan. And I think Cider talked about this a couple shows ago, but one of the things that I think we all miss here, or not really miss, but is sort of unspoken, is that we don't have a direct line to the Japanese. No, we can't say, oh, look at all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. We have to speak essentially through like translators. I mean, I'm simplifying everything because I'm talking about like peoples, but like,
don't trust America assholes.
That's pretty much it.
I'm not lucky. Let's be real. I like people like me, or like some remember the I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. Like we were really lucky that we organized everything and went to thanks to the articles I wrote, we took everything, went to the author, went to the publisher, and they found out what was going on and then shut everything down that Seven Seas was doing. Like,
right. But really what I'm saying is,
but that's what I'm saying.
They don't know
what's happening. They don't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they only hear from the people who they are professionally in contact with. And in Japan, like in their minds, they're looking at us and they're going, okay, they're kind of looking at they have a very merited, a merited view of how work works. So if I'm Japanese and somebody is presented to me as like, okay, this is Cider. He was hired to be the TV distribution executive. I immediately there, as we used to in America, have this implicit understanding, like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. He has some idea of what to do. This is somebody that the company I am working with thinks I should be put in contact with. So at that point, you start talking to them and the guy starts going, okay, I'm listening. And they want non-binary everythings. They want body type A, body type B. They want racism lectures in there. Cool. We'll do it.
But it's a sad state of affairs when it really comes down to it. It is two things. One, these mega corporation giant studios, they don't have the time or the money to do actual research into whether they're actually investing in it has any merit to it whatsoever. And then number two, because I like to kick a horn instead when we're here. Let's be very, very honest here. Korea clears Japan, and we need to stop pretending like it absolutely doesn't. So yeah, that's my.
But
they're stepping up for sure.
But something Cider
it's just the library size.
We talked about last week, and I've noticed it for a while, is that one, outside of like Bleach, because Bleach is its own thing, Disney has not marketed Disney Plus outside of Japan for one thing. And even my Aniplex insider said they barely marketed Disney Plus Star or any of the anime on Disney Plus Star. And then the other thing is that there are like no simuldubs for any of the anime on Disney Plus Star. None. Like with Crunchyroll, you got simuldubs going, and part of me is just like, I think that's kind of a good thing to not have simuldubs at this point, considering the state of the
this is the weird thing about
industry.
Nerdigans. This is a weird thing, is they casted the people, and again, like people in the West are going to know it as Go Go Loser Ranger. I know that this isn't the real title of it, but this is how they know it. They casted the English voice cast for that over a year ago, and they haven't done anything. They haven't even done a trailer with these people yet. I don't know what's happening. They're just paying them to hang around and apparently talk to each other. I don't know. But speaking of that, there's so much chaos at Disney. Even Bob Iger had to admit that, you know what, we're not doing new IPs. That's too scary.
No, why would we do such a thing?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely. I mean, to me, this is a throwing in of the towel. Or what am I trying to say here? This is clearly a move that Iger thought is going to be a winner, but to me, it just signals like you guys are completely just done. Like you got nothing left in the tank.
And this will obviously translate over to a couple of stories that will follow this. But essentially what's happening here is that Disney has lost so much money over the last 2 years just on their films alone. Now, I'm not even talking about the Disney Plus, not talking about the theme park, just on the films alone. They've gotten to a point where they're publicly admitting, hey, look, we cannot afford afford to take a chance on an original product that we don't have any assurance will get us our money back once we sink $250 million into the production budget. It's like, this is where they're at now. So it's like, they're going to shun all originality whatsoever, because it's like, I don't know if this film is going to actually like make money for us. Like, it could, but it could not. And guess what? We're not in that business anymore, because guess what? Disney is not actually a film studio anymore. It is a very small piece of a major corporation's portfolio. So you're not dealing with film studios anymore like you were 10, 40 years ago. That time is done. You're dealing with a major corporation who's only worried about its stock price, and it's like, we need to focus on films that are going to make money. So if we have to do the Lion King 6 or the Princess Bride 18, whatever the case may be, that's what we're going to produce. That's why we're getting Toy Story 5, even though everyone agrees it should have ended with 3.
Oh, dude, we're getting Toy Story 5. We're getting what is it? Inside Out 2. We're getting a Moana 2. We're getting the stupid Mufasa prequel.
Who asked for Moana 2?
Can I ask you though, like, just like
I'll get
there's
back to
a
that, but
sequel
Cider.
to Lion Kings, right? Like,
Yes.
what on earth are they going to do with Moana? Her story is about her people rediscovering her heritage. Is she going to fight another volcano? What the hell is she meant to do?
So it's so funny, because this sort of circles back to what we were talking about earlier. When Nerdigans brought up the not the Dragon Ball sequels, the Lion King sequels. I don't know why my mind went there, but when she brought up the Lion King sequels, and you were like, what did they do? How did they have sequels? A Beauty and the Beast too? What the hell? Like, I wanted to make a joke. It's that they just retread the same stories from the first movie, especially with so in the 90s or in the late or early 2000s, Disney was doing all of these direct-to-video sequels to their big hits. You know, you had your 102 Dalmatians, you had your Pocahontas 2, you had your Beauty and the Beast 2.
I'm really sorry. I know you're on a roll, but R.J. McCready, Moana 2, now he's golden bottles.
No!
But
green light in credits. Green light.
These sequels were good. Like Aladdin 3, King of Thieves was everything. Oh my god, that movie was so good.
By the way, we
got our resident Zoomer over here who actually watched those movies.
To make RJ's joke even that much better, The Rock is unironically back for Moana 2 as well.
He is. What is he supposed to do in that?
Okay, so here is what Jacob, and I just want to throw this or give this piece of information because it just kind of adds to how insanely stupid and desperate they are now. So Jacob asked a second ago, who wanted Moana 2? Now the answer is nobody. Absolutely nobody wanted it. First Moana was great. It closed up, wrapped. Let's go home. Next. The reason, so if you guys remember a couple years ago, like 2020, like whenever it was announced, 2021, 2022, they announced that film at a time when everything was dying. Like all their stock was cratering. It was sub $100. All of their films were dying. I think I think it was before Ant-Man, but they just needed a win. So they went, oh, we're doing a Moana 2. And everybody went, okay, cool. There it is. And, they were hoping that would boost the stock price. It didn't work. So then a couple of months later, they go, oh, we're doing live action Moana. Actually, we're doing that too. And The Rock is coming back. And it's like, still nothing. Why? So it is literally just please clap moments. That's what Moana 2 is. That's what the live action Moana is. It's just, you remember Moana, the last movie everybody can kind of universally agree on was like, all right. That that's what we like. Hey, give them more of that. Please give us money. Please give us your money. Please. We're dying. Like, that's what it is for them at this point. Because or go ahead, Nerdikins. Yeah.
Like, this is just so sad because, like, I just remember, like, when when some of the direct-to-DVD stuff was like failed, or they were supposed to be pilots for shows, and like with Aladdin, if you did not watch the Aladdin TV show in the 90s, you missed out because that show was amazing.
All of them, really. Hercules.
A lot of them, Hercules,
Little Mermaid.
School, Little Mermaid Adventures. Like, there were some really, really good shows that Disney put out. And it's just a shame that the Moana movie that they're putting out, they could have just done it. Well, now I don't think it's a good idea because of how crappy the writers are. But, like, you had some good talent up in that writer's room for some of the direct-to-DVD sequels, like the Bambi 2 movie, for example.
Those
you had a really good father and son story there with
I
with
forgot
Bambi.
about Bambi 2. Yeah.
Bambi 2
There's another one.
really good.
Abandoning.
Bambi goes to find the hunter.
Yeah, it was actually a really good father-son story for Bambi 2. I was really surprised by that one. But there was a lot of duds up in there. But the final movie that they did, Cinderella 3, the animation team went all out. They went all out. 3, Twisted Time.
Nerdigans, which number Aladdin sequel was it where he meets his dad, like the King of Thieves? Is that 3 or is that 2?
Yeah, it's 3. It was
3. 3 was really good.
3 was the perfect finale for
it was surprisingly good.
the
Yeah.
Aladdin TV show too. It was just so perfect.
So,
but yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, no, go.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because Leslie Tarkin mentioned this, that Disney was amazing in the 90s. We were all kind of like talking about this with Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and all those other shows that were available back then, you know? And so this Bob Iger even admits this in this paragraph right here. I knew exactly what he was talking about. This is the period he's talking, the Goof Troop. He's talking about the specific late to middle 90s, middle to late 90s programming they had on Disney, the Disney Channel itself on cable. And he says, we had gone through a period where our original films and animation, both Disney and Pixar, were dominating. He means the television. I know he meant the television. I don't know anybody who sits back and says those 90s Disney movies were all it's at. It's the TV shows. They did a Mighty Ducks television show that had nothing to do with
action
hockey players.
Oh my God, Mighty Ducks TV show was so
alien
good.
ducks.
I loved it. If you did not watch Mighty Ducks, like
coolest
on ABC,
theme song, by the way.
What was wrong with you? Like ABC, like there was Fillmore,
Darkwing
there was
Duck.
Recess, there was Gargoyles,
The Weekenders.
Weekenders.
I liked the Weekenders.
Oh God,
Zoe.
Friday mornings used to be so good. There used to be so much good stuff when we were growing up.
See, Jacob, you like the early 2000s Disney live action programming and stuff like that because you talk about a lot of it too.
Yeah, like Even Stevens, the Jersey, So Weird, stuff like that.
Yeah, the famous Jet Jackson.
That was a good one too.
One of the ones I particularly loved. And this again, these were Disney's programs that they took a risk on. Every last one of these is an original property. Yeah. Yes,
like
the
I
movies
said,
were successful
because it was at a time period where they needed to, because they had just started a fresh network with no actual content. So it's like, hey, we need to throw things at the wall and see what sticks because we don't really have anything to build on here. So yeah, let's do a show about a teenage girl who goes to hell and tries to save the soul of her dead father, or let's do a TV show about a bunch of teenagers who jump into the body of famous sports athletes because we need something to be a hit. And that's what you got when you actually try to be creative and you actually try to get things over. It's shocking the things you can come up with. But when you're basically we just need to make $1 billion, then we don't really care what we throw out there. And then this is what entertainment becomes. And this is where we're
100%.
Well, Disney also had a lot of competition too at the time. You had Don Bluth that he was dealing with too, and Pixar. Now there's not as much competition.
And now they bought all their competition.
Now their only competition is Illumination, and those little minions can't go forever. They're running
I was just about to say too. Yeah, literally their only competition right now is Comcast, and that's really it.
Yeah, exactly. and we all know that. What was it? What was it? Didn't like Sony or somebody just put in a bid to buy Comcast? Like one of those. There are like 9 different consolidations happening in the entertainment.
Sony's making a bid for Paramount.
That's what it was. Yeah, Paramount. That's what it was. That's
but
right.
even before that announcement, there was talks about Paramount and Warner Brothers possibly merging, or those two merging and then Comcast buying it. So it's like we're at the point now where, in all honesty, Hollywood will probably be a duopoly, but within 2030. Like that's where we're fast forwarding to.
I have this mini running joke with myself where like every time I hear one of these announcements that, Disney's going to buy Nintendo or whatever the hell like comes up, I always just like, there's always there's that phrase like one world government. I always imagine one world media. And then I just imagine like Jacob with like Klaus Schwab, like glasses on. I don't know why. And it always makes me laugh because you've been on this beat for like 2-3 years now, even before.
I mean, honestly, I've been on this beat since
the Warner
the whole
Bros. Discovery thing. Yeah, even before.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I've been on this beat when the Fox Disney thing
That's right,
happened,
yeah.
and this is before everyone really hated Disney. Like, that's why I like to say I hated Disney before it was cool, because I was saying then, when they did like $70 billion on that Fox merger, like, this is going to absolutely destroy like entertainment. And this is at the time where, you know, Infinity Wars was still coming out and Endgame, and everyone was still drinking all the Disney Kool-Aid, so they didn't want to hear it then. But now we're here now in 2024. No one can deny this is exactly where we went. So,
like, it is so bad, because like my main takeaway from this is sort of just to like wrap it all up, and sort of, you know, all of you guys hit the right points of what I was trying to say. But it's like, if, you know, we are in this era where we are starved for creativity, we are starved for originality, we want better, more genuine, authentic experiences, whether that's in our comic books, in our movies, our TV shows, or even just from the people we watch on the internet, right? Like, we're done with anybody who even reeks of shill. We just want to talk to a normal individual person. So to me, they go, oh, you don't want any of this stuff. You don't want anything made with authenticity. You know what you want? You want nostalgia bait. You want these sequels, right? Yeah, let's have all these sequels. You're going to love them. Well, like, again, everybody can smell that desperation off of them. So they say, we're going to give you all these sequels. And when they announce whatever is going to come out, people are just going to go, all right, like, of course you did. That's so desperate. Like, there is nothing dripping off of, like, coming off of the statement that inspires confidence. And just for like, what am I trying to say? Just for information, I guess. I'm blanking
sake?
on the phrase. Clarity's sake. Yes, thank you, Cider. Oh my God. So,
I did the thing.
Yes, you did. In service of this plan, it looks like Disney, Iger officially announced that this is what they were doing on Monday during their earnings call. But I went and I looked through their release schedule, and I think they've been angling to get to this point for a little bit, probably over the last like year or two, ever since Iger said we need to cut back, because they have so right now they have 28 named films coming up on their release schedule from all of their studios, be it Marvel, Pixar, Searchlight, all of that. And so they have 28 coming out that they've confirmed. Of those 28, there are only 8 that are original movies. And that is Young Woman in the Sea, The Amateur, Kinds of Kindness, A Real Pain, Elio, a movie called Night Bitch, and
dude, did you bother to Google that?
No, I have no idea.
I
what it
did.
is.
I was like, what on earth is Disney doing with its name attached to this? And sure enough, it's the story. It's just Shaggy Dog, but with a vengeful suburban mom.
No,
so
they girl boss Shaggy Dog.
Yeah, a mom transforms into a dog at night and goes and enacts vengeance upon the people that she is caring about during the day. Yes,
no.
It's based on a book. And Disney was like, this is a good thing to invest in. Yeah, this is going to bring all the kids to the audience.
Who was the Karen that approved of this?
The long line of them.
I know. Seriously, where do you want to start? Probably, you know, that Kennedy probably had a hand. Whatever, the Sana Amanat probably had a hand in there somewhere. Oh, Victoria Alonso probably did it, even though she hasn't been there for like 2 years. Like, I would honestly probably put a lot of stock in
for
her.
A long time.
That's what I mean. But then, yeah. In addition to those 6 films, there are 2 documentaries coming out. One about the Beach Boys, and then one about Jim Henson. So that's what you have as far as original movies.
Of course.
People
who were born after 1990 are going to give all the shits about the Beach Boys, all of them,
and Jim Henson. As much as I love Jim Henson, and I know he's still a figure, I still feel like that is a very niche documentary at this point.
It's about 10 years late.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, a lot of those are like those 6 of them are actual stories. 2 of them are documentaries. So that like is not like confidence inspiring. The rest so from there, 19 of their movies are prequels or sequels. And you've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, Alien Romulus, Moana 2, Mufasa the Lion King, Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Tron Ares, Zootopia 2, Avatar 3, Avengers 5, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Toy Story 5, Avengers Secret Wars, and Avatar 4. Now, did any of, like, I don't know about you guys, there is one film on that list that even remotely sparks any interest in me, and that's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh,
and like the rest
Bitch.
Well, no, I'm talking about on the sequel title. On the
list.
sequel title.
Oh, okay.
Night Bitch is my #1 movie of the year already. I while you were talking, I ran over to Fandango and I got my like front row seats for the IMAX screening. But like,
yeah, whoa.
So then from there, they 2 more films are remakes, which are Snow White and Moana, and then Fantastic Four and Blade are like, I didn't know whether you want to qualify those as sequels or originals, because like they're technically original stories, but they're MCU
qualify
movies.
them as productions, Spencer. They're not even a thing at the moment.
Blade for sure is like, I do not think that movie is coming out. There's no way that movie is happening.
I really hope the Blade comes out. I hope that rumor is true. I want that Blade.
There is Nerdigans. Hold on, Nerdigans, remind me, because so that is is he coming? Is the rumor that he's back in Blade or in Avengers? I forget. Do you remember?
It was in Blade. It would be a separate Blade movie. It would be a spin-off Blade, so it wouldn't be in the MCU timeline. It would just be a one-off Blade movie. I would be so happy with that. If it was like a direct sequel to the original Blade trilogy, just give me that. I will be very happy with it. With Wesley Snipes, just give him a last hurrah. Just on one
hand, like if you were going to do a Blade movie, that's probably how I would want to do it. But at this point, like, he's old. I don't like.
Yes, and
I don't really know if I need him. I don't know if I really want to see my Blade old and not doing anything, because they're gonna
badass. Like
they're gonna Jake Skywalker him like always. We're not allowed to have like old strong male heroes.
No, they would be racist if they did that though, because Blade is black. They would be called racist.
But he's a black Israelite, so he's anti-Palestine, so it's okay.
Are anti-Semitic, so
I know. That's I was completely making a joke.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, they'd be racist as fuck if they did that to Wesley Snipes. They would get so racist.
But we know from every production in the world, like every piece of media, they don't really care. Like, again, they will do something if they think it like helps their cause, regardless of whatever other side effect may come. So to them, they're seeing, oh yeah, take down the old male character, the one that everybody likes. Let's show them that it's time for some new blood. Oh, that's a black male character. We don't really care. Here he is anyway. I mean, they did that with in the Marvel comics, Patriot, the Young Avenger, the original Patriot, grandson of Eli, the Black Captain America, first Captain America, had Captain America powers, was mini Captain America, named Patriot. Out of nowhere during Civil War II, Marvel goes, oh, here's a new Patriot who is another black kid, but he's more of your stereotypical, like, down on your luck. I'm an up and coming, like a Riri Williams type character. And they didn't even they didn't explain what happened to Eli. They didn't even kill him off. They were just like, oh yeah, this kid's Patriot now. Deal with it. Like, they don't care so long as they can get their whatever ideological win. They don't care about the collateral damage as long as they hit that one target.
Well, look what they did with Logan. Just give me that kind of movie, but with Blade.
We're never getting that again. I mean, here's how I know we're never getting that again, because that movie was a Marvel movie done by James Mangold. And not only is Marvel owned by Disney now, and we've seen what's happened over there, but James Mangold has gone to work for Disney now, and we saw what happened there. And he gave us Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which theoretically should have been a Logan-esque movie, but instead turned into, I'm Indiana Jones. I suck. Can you punch me in the face so that, you can show me what to do, Helena?
Just let me die. Ever. I just want to die.
I just want to be here. I'm the worst. It's so bad. I
don't want to go back and live life anymore. I just want to stay here with the Romans and get stabbed with a spear.
My son. I want to go back to a time before he was born, or even
before he was even born. I want to completely mess up history by staying here. It's great story. So bad.
This is like a great place to die and just absolutely destroy the fabric of history and time as we know it.
So you've got this problem, right? You got this problem with Marvel, right? And as we've explained here, right, with the greater Disney problem. But here's Marvel saying we're going to shrink back to 2 series a year and a maximum of 3 films. This is amazing. I want to, like, on top of Helldivers, we're going to talk about in a minute here. I just want to say thank you, everyone out there that has, like, painstakingly taken the time to resist Disney's advertising and the pressure from your friends to go see these movies, because this is the result of it. You're finally reining these assholes in on this programming. Iger even says in this article, like with his own mouth, it's not divined through what he says. With his own mouth, he says they're going to focus on quality now. After 15 years, they're going to focus on
it's
quality
only
now.
because they lost what $700 million at the box office.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, billion. Yeah,
It's a victory for democracy. As
yeah.
I
Right.
mean, they
good
got
job,
hit.
guys.
They got hit in their, like. It is sad because they only started listening when they got hit in their bank account, like both of you just pointed out. But they got hit awfully, and like we don't have to go super into it, but essentially every year Deadline does this feature around this time, and it's like a March Madness, or like, no, let me rephrase that. It is a sort of tournament of the most successful films of the year. And they take the officially reported numbers, they reach out to their studio sources, their contacts, and they get all the numbers and they go, okay, here's, the most profitable, da 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 da. They also do, as sort of a fun extra, the 5 worst performing movies in a given year. Last year, Disney took home 4 of those fucking spots with what was it? Haunted Mansion.
I have it here actually.
Go ahead. Yeah, hit it.
So The Marvels was Disney's biggest loss last year. It lost $237 million at the box office. It's the lowest drawing MCU film ever. So that's even including the ones that came out during COVID. That's how bad this one is. What else do we have here? We have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny lost $143 million. Wish lost $131 million. Haunted Mansion lost $117 million. So out of just last year alone, in the last calendar year, that those total to $626 million. And like I said, that's not even counting the losses from 2022 and 2021. So keep in mind, this whole thing has just been pummeling straight downhill into the ground ever since Disney decided, you know what, we're going to war with Ron DeSantis. We'll show him that Disney's the powerhouse, and it's been literally downhill ever since. And Bob Iger, who was completely out of the game, decided that he was going to come back to Disney and frame himself as the hero, and he has not been able to right the ship at all since he's come back.
I have heard a total of 1 positive story about Iger since he came back. And again, there was no way to even know if this is true. I kind of even feel like it is a PR stunt, right? Like just because you can just say things if like on the internet nowadays. But apparently Iger himself was responsible for canning like Captain Marvel 3, an Ant-Man 4, and an Eternals 2. Like he personally went in and was like, we're not doing any of these. They are going to lose us money. And I'm like, that was a good, and apparently he got into like a tiff with Feige over Eternals 2. And Iger was like, no, if we make that, we are losing money. I know it's a bomb, like right off the jump. Yeah, more money than the first one already did. So like for all that he wants to be the hero, he's really not doing anything that heroic. And while it's like right here, I'm on your side, Cider. I want to be like, congrats, we finally did it. You guys are at least saying the right things. I got to see you guys deliver. You have Fantastic Four, you have Blade coming out. Those are going. You have Fantastic Four coming out. That's going to be the ultimate testing ground for all of this. All of your promises over the past few years that we're changing our curation, we're putting our the process back in the hands of the creator. All of that's going to be tested with Fantastic Four, because if we get, the same non-serious, like progressive crap. Yeah. Dude, we're going to get Seth Rogen as the voice dub over for the Thing. I'm totally in for it. But like, if they give us the same thing as we've been getting, it's done. There's no coming back for them. Again, Deadpool 3, outlier, not to be considered, because they have we learned this week that
By the way,
Feige didn't want to do that movie.
And keep in mind, it's literally the only project post. I mean, keep in mind, the whole idea is like, oh, we're going to buy 20th Century Fox, which was 2017, if I'm not mistaken, so 7 years ago. It's like, oh, you get to see all these characters in the MCU. It's going to be great. And it took us 7 years just to get Deadpool and Wolverine in a borderline spin-off movie that just so happens to be in the MCU now.
Right. Like, it is a, like, barely like a seventh cousin, fourth removed like situation to like proper X-Men movies. And like, to your point, where the hell are the X-Men? We've gotten nothing. We have all these awful rumors that keep coming out, but we've gotten nothing about them. We've gotten confirmation that Kamala Khan's a mutant, but aside from that, no project announcements. It's not even on the roadmap. Like, I don't know. And is anybody excited for The Rock's Apocalypse? Like, oh boy, Marvel, what the hell is wrong with you? Like,
we're going to get Keke Palmer as Rogue, and we're going to get The Rock as Apocalypse.
I know we are. Huh?
You know, at least she'll have a butt.
But she's also like the most annoying person. She's the butted.
She's literally a horrible person.
Yeah, she is like the worst person. And if you don't believe me, go to Jacob's channel, go to the search bar, type in Keke Palmer. She's been a topic on the bar room like 7 different times, and none of it has ever been good. It's never been good. She is just a bad person. I don't even know where this stupid campaign to have Keke be in a role, like, it feels so incredibly AstroTurf to me.
It's
so AstroTurf. Yeah, exactly, Nerdigans. I don't buy it. Nobody aside from the people here, I don't even know if Cider specifically knows exactly who she is, but like, to the chat, do you guys know off the top of your head who Keke Palmer is? No, neither does most of the world. So why is she all of a sudden being pushed into, like, make her everybody, make her Storm, make her Rogue, make her Wonder Woman, make her Darth Vader? Like, that's like the worst thing.
It's like the Genshin Impact fans that have been doing the blackwashing yet again. It's like
blackwashing more than meets the blackwashing.
I'm talking about those the Blacktober edits and all that. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
always is. And Eccentric Banana asks, she used to be on Disney or Nickelodeon. I forgot. She was in that like I think it's a Disney, like, or no, it was Nickelodeon.
It was a Nickelodeon show from like the 2000s where no one was actually watching.
VP,
that is what it was. True Jackson VP. That's what it was. I knew it was like a White Housey type show, like the That's So Raven sequel, but I couldn't remember.
Well, you've also got Megan Thee Stallion going out and doing these custom fake PlayStation covers of herself as Boa Hancock from
I know.
Oh God. Oh, I'm so mad about that with the casting calls. Like, everyone else on the casting call list, I think is fine.
So hold on. You got to give context. I don't think anybody knows what you're talking about.
For those of you that don't know, there was a leak about the casting, or not a leak, I'm sorry, a report for Netflix season 2 of One Piece live action season 2. And for the most part, you have the casting looks decent, but there's one that was triggered everyone, and that was Nico Robin. And for those of you that don't know, Oda has said that Nico Robin is Russian. Well, they're looking for a Latina to play Nico Robin instead of a white Russian. And it set the fandom.
Can you just get Melissa Barrera? I mean, she doesn't seem like she needs to work.
It's probably going to be like her. Yeah, she needs to work. No, so the reason, so like Nerdigan said, there's been a leaked casting call. I have an article on it coming out tomorrow. Wanted to get to it today, probably just don't have the time. But yeah, the leaked casting call apparently is looking for a Latina actress to play Robin. And in as Nerdigan's noted a long time ago, Oda noted that he did this whole little section in one of his he answered fan questions, and somebody said, if all the Straw Hats were in the real world, what would their like actual ethnicities be? Right. And he went, oh, this is what I think they are. And so we got things like Luffy is Brazilian. Usopp is just generally African. Nami is Swedish. Sanji, I think Sanji is French.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sanji's French. Zoro's Japanese. Yeah, and then Robin was like a Russian, middle Eastern European, right? And now they're looking for a Latina, and I know if that casting call is true, if they go through with it, I know what they're trying to do, and it is based on that whole stupid discussion that regularly comes up about when Robin first appears in One Piece in Alabasta. Yeah, she is tan. Well, you can't. Well, it might be it is in the manga too. It's in the color spreads, but because the manga is black and white, you can't really tell anyway. But yeah, when she shows up in Alabasta for the first time, she's pretty tan. As the series goes on, she ends up, losing that tan and becoming more white. Now, logic dictates that the reason for this is because you go from spending all of your time in a desert country outside to being in dungeons and being on a ship and like being under deck, where you're gonna lose like all of your color. But of course, all the idiots online go, it's racism, they're whitewashing her. So if this is true, this to me, it's just another one of those stupid, we gotta own the chuds, we gotta hit back against them. And it's just like, if like that is never a good recipe. That never works out for anybody. That is what happens with She-Hulk. When you go out to make a product that it's solely intended to attack somebody and like pass like a cup of farts around to everybody else who already believes like what you believe, and you just sniff it and go, haha, we're the best. Like, your product will fail because it will only land with those 5 people. And it doesn't matter whether you're progressive,
then you turn around
conservative.
And go, actually, it's your fault that sucked.
Right. Oh, actually, you guys didn't do it right. You had no idea what we were going for. I still remember probably like the most heartbreaking moment about the man, because I liked him aside from, like, with everything aside from this. But Lance Reddick, rest in peace. When, if you guys don't remember, because it came and went. Netflix last year did a Resident Evil show, a live action Resident Evil show. And it was fucking dog crap. Like, it was awful. Bad. It was CW teen drama. It was really, 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 really bad. And obviously the show got canceled after 1 season really, really quickly. Like, maybe a week after it was launched, they canceled it. But when they canceled it, Reddick made a post where he was like, oh, sad day, Resident Evil's over, thanks to all the fans who watched. And then he was like, and no thanks to all the people who didn't understand what we were trying to do with the series. And it's like, what do you mean understand what you're trying to do? You just shat all over it. We're not missing it. We saw what you did. There's no amount of wrapping this up in like colorful wrapping paper that's going to make us think that you were doing some hoity-toity artistic take on Resident Evil or whatever, or anything more than just bad fan fiction.
But yeah,
go ahead.
The thing is remember what Oda said. Oda said that he is playing a role in casting the main cast. Oda is not going to let this slide, because Oda has spent how many years on this project?
But here's the problem. He might, because, and I will point to one specific example, Nojiko. In the manga, Nojiko is a slightly tanner woman. In the live action series, which had his approval, she is outright like black. So we've already seen that he's had this propensity to like, I guess I'm being very charitable here, and I admit that because he's Oda and I am a fanboy. But like, to me, it's him trying to more accurately get to the idea of the character he had in his head, or like that vision of the character. But in doing so, he kind of overwrites everything. Like, he's sort of missing the point there, if that makes any sense. And we don't know yet. Of course, it's all speculation. Hopefully this isn't true, but who knows yet? We live in an era where this sort of rumor can't, like, it's sad, but it can't easily be dismissed. Even with all the evidence we could provide as to why they won't or why they will, who knows at this point?
But yeah, like, something that I've heard through the grapevine as well is that Oda is more focused on getting at least the core characters right. Like, the Straw Hats more accurate than, say, the side characters. And if that's the case, then that's why I'm like, Nico Robin's going to look at, if he does not get Nico Robin right, then he's going to feel the wrath of the fandom. There's no way he won't get Robin right. There's no way. I just can't see it. And also, Vivi.
Do you think that they care as much as you do?
I know, seriously. Like, I
big
hear
thing.
you. I hear you so much, and I hear the like optimism in your voice, and I understand where it's
Or
coming
do you
from.
think like someone's just like lighting their cigar with like $100 bill, going,
Like,
"What?"
Spencer, you looked at the casting list. It was
What
like
the
one
hell's
of
a
these things
Nico
is not
Robin?
like the other. Like everything else was just so spot on.
I know, but that's what I'm
My,
saying is like, look at the first season. Everything was spot on, and then Nojiko was a complete like blatant race swap. And that's all I'm saying is that I hear your optimism and I know where it's coming from, and I wish to God that I could be on that train with you. But there's this I've seen too much. I've been through the shit. I've been in the trenches. You can't fool me anymore.
Hold on, my cat is being naughty. He's knocking things over. I'll be right back.
No worries. Go take care of Zeno.
Go tell them that we'll send them to a Chinese restaurant real quick.
Send them to me. I can do something with them.
By the way, before we move on to our next topic here, it's like,
Yeah.
now I ever see with Spencer's new beard. Now all I just want him to do is to take a picture on his porch with like a robe and just like a cup full of half coffee.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah. Everybody was commenting on it. You made the joke at the beginning. I'm sporting the beard now, half because I'm lazy, half because I had a friend who was like, I don't believe your beard grows in red. And sure enough, as you guys can all see, it definitely does. I am an Asian person who grows a red beard. No idea how it works.
That's two that I know.
Two? What the heck?
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Quaff. Yeah, the
yeah.
author of Shotgun
Yeah.
Samurai. His grows out
Shotgun
like
Samurai.
blood red, like rust
I didn't
red.
know that. What? Dude,
It's
he and
because he's Irish, Australian. That's why.
See, I don't even have that.
Irish, Irish Japanese. It's Australian is where his Irishness comes from. My apologies.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't even have Irish in my family. My white side is all German. So
Yeah, that explains
some black sheep is in there somewhere. No
the
idea.
The Germans had red hair. Absolutely.
Oh,
There was
did
the
they?
other place in Europe that had red hair. Yep.
Oh, I genuinely didn't know. Then that makes total sense. But I can
Eric the Red.
oh yeah, duh. Why am I stupid? Yeah, duh. The sad thing about it is I can only have a beard because if I like got rid of this and tried to have a mustache, it's just like a bright red glow on my. It looks so very, very, very weird.
When I try to do a mustache, it's just a weird shadow under my nose. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like. Just some weird shadow under my nose.
I will say I'm at least very thankful that I don't do the Filipino normal mustache, which is just like 3 hairs that grow out really, really long.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yep.
at least I can get like an actual mustache going.
That whole deal. Yeah. Well, I don't have a good segue for this, so enjoy. This is a
Major orders completed. That's
There we
our
go.
segue.
There it is. By now, you already know. The bugs aren't our enemies. The automatons aren't our enemies. The ones that betrayed us the most. The ones that struck the most personal blow. That was the corporates that did that to us. The data mine. To collect information on us and our families. Just so they could sell us crap later on. So I'm asking you, Helldiver, to refund your copy today. And send a message to these soulless corporations that gamers just want a game. And that's it. And remember, Helldiver, keep the violence in the game.
24 hours later.
I want you to remember this day as the day that you raised your fist over your head and shouted, "I will not surrender." Because of your sacrifice, Helldiver, and the sacrifice of hundreds of thousands of others, Sony was brought to bear. And a message was sent to the rest of the corporate front. We're coming for you next. Damn,
Yes.
you're impressive. You know that? You brought a multinational Fortune 500 company to its knees begging for your forgiveness. That's right, you did that, and I hope you live to tell your grandchildren that you did that.
where were you when we finally took a victory over Sony, right? Like, let's do our Iwo Jima flag raise, because this is definitely a situation that deserves all the celebration, all of the victory laps. Like, you guys did it, take a bow. So, for those who do not know what is going on with this situation, for those who've been out of the loop for about a week, we're going to give you a quick breakdown, and yeah, we'll take it from here. So, Helldivers 2, brand new game, launched at the beginning of the year. It is essentially a Starship Troopers-esque title where you join up with teammates to go fight back giant bugs and giant alien robots from invading the galaxy. And it's a great multiplayer title. It's been massively successful. Everybody is picking it up. I'm sure at some point in your travels over the last 5 months in 2024 already, you've heard the name Helldivers 2. It is just one of those ubiquitous, everybody is into it, regardless of leanings or affiliations, whatever. It's just like that big of a smash hit. So the game, on Wednesday of last week, we got an announcement from Sony that after months of the game being available let me rephrase. So we got an announcement last week that Steam players, even though that they've been playing the game for months without any such requirement, going forward, they would have to start linking their Steam accounts to a PSN account. Whether you had one or not, you would have to create it. But if you wanted to play Helldivers 2 starting in May, you were going to have to interact with the PlayStation ecosystem. Now, this requirement was listed in the very beginning on the game's Steam page because Sony is its publisher. It is a Sony game. It is only available on PlayStation and PC. And so they had that feature, they listed it, but they took it down at launch because there were apparently some bugs that just made it not work. You couldn't play together, you couldn't link up. It was a disaster. So they said, we're not going to have it. Don't worry about it. Come a couple months later, they say, all right, we're introducing it now. But the big problem is, so there were two big problems with that announcement. And one is nobody likes having to go through another service, right? Like, it's a customer service issue. When you want, like, if you want a customer to engage with your product or, interact with it, making it easy for them to get to is how you succeed. You don't want to make them jump through several different hoops to just access your game. And yeah, the argument is, oh, it's a free account. What's the big deal? Just sign up for it. But it's an account I don't want. It's a service I don't really want to interact with. When I was already able to go through Steam proper. And 3, Sony is not necessarily like a company to be trusted. They've had 7 major hacks over the last 10 years. And when I say major hacks, I don't mean just like a password or 2 got out. I'm talking personal information of users, credit card information. Yeah, financial information. All of the
it's like that the one time when Malaysian airline lost 3 planes, spread 28 days. It's like, how do you do that?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like somebody should be doing something over there. Are you guys just asleep at the wheel? So that was a big sticking point, was just the stop trying to force us to use your crappy product. PSN is a bad ecosystem. Honestly, the only person who stood to benefit from the linking of accounts was Sony. And I tried to, communicate this in the articles I wrote about it, but I don't know if I did, so I'm going to do it now. But what Sony is looking at by forcing you to go through their system is essentially more money, because for every 3,000 players that, sign up for an account and don't do anything more than sign into it, one player will go, oh, look at this ecosystem. I want to, spend my money on PSN. Maybe now I'll go buy a PlayStation. Even if it's just one person, that's a sale to them. That's money. So that's what they're trying. That's the only person who stood to benefit from this move. Steam didn't get anything out of it. Players didn't get anything out of it. Arrowhead Game Studios didn't get anything out of it. So that was the big issue there. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The other thing that's tagged onto that is that Spitz said this in Discord, that they needed to monitor your activity. That was what they wanted it for chiefly, so they can monitor your activity. Now, this is a big problem. Like for a PlayStation, that's fine. That's their device. They have a right to make sure that you're not using that to create illicit material. However, when you have a PC that you built out of a cardboard box and hopes and dreams, that has nothing to do with Sony, and they have no right to monitor anything going on with that machine whatsoever.
Absolutely. And to make matters even worse, in that sense of they wanted more control over you, not only did they want, more access over your account and to monitor you and to ban you, but remember, PlayStation actively listens to your conversations. It is always recording what you're saying because that's how you submit safety reports, right? That's how your system is constantly recording so that when you go, oh, I need to file a report, you go to hit the report button. It goes, okay, here's the last 5 minutes of conversations that happened on your Xbox. Can you please find the area it happened in? Or PlayStation, sorry. Can you find the area it happened in and let us know? And so they are actively listening. PlayStation actively wanted to monitor you. The whole excuse that it was easier to ban people if you were linked to PSN is kind of bullshit because you could still already ban people on Steam. Yeah, there's more
three different
workarounds,
ID levels on Steam that allow it.
There's so many essentially DRM checks, not like de novo, but just regular standard DRM through Steam, that this is just another layer that Sony wanted the control over. That's how I read it, was Sony going, everybody loves this, but they're not doing it how we want it. We got to get in on this. We got to have a piece of this cake. But perhaps
what you guys think about this before we continue.
Yeah,
is this something that's happening on Ghost of Tsushima? So what Ghost of Tsushima is doing for the PC version is that if you're playing offline, or if you're playing single player, you don't need a PSN, period. But if you're playing online multiplayer and crossplay, that's when you need a PSN. Or if you're using a PlayStation mode kind of thing, you need a PSN.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's kind of, for this situation, do you think that if they are playing a crossplay onto PlayStation, do you think that's when Sony should require having a PSN for PC users, or should it just not be required at all?
So where do I start with this? I have a thought. Okay, so I saw that development earlier today, and I saw a lot of people and a lot of news sites running to go, oh my gosh, after the Helldivers thing, Ghost of Tsushima requires a PSN account. Oh my God. And it's they are completely different situations, because at the core of what made the Helldivers 2 situation so bullshit was that they never explicitly made that known. Right? They took that requirement away. And then the second point I was going to get to, and I'll just drop it now because it's relevant, is that they took that requirement away, said, oh yeah, you can play without PSN for now. And then they proceeded to sell it in countries where PSN doesn't exist. There are 177 out of the 190 established countries in the world that don't have access to PSN. So, and that includes pretty big states like Vietnam, the Philippines, Egypt, these places where we know people are playing and have connections. So these players bought the game, and then come May, were basically told, you're out of luck. You can't play this.
Thanks for your money, chump.
So the Ghost of Tsushima situation is slightly different because, one, they are very clearly making it known ahead of time that if you want to use these features, you are going to have to use PSN. So there's no rug pulling, no selling you the game and then going, sorry. Second, it is a specific Sony title. So I don't necessarily think you need these accounts to sign into, but if they want to do it, it's for that proprietary of a game. I sort of understand more. But again, the situations are not really comparable because it's deception versus being outright with it. Is it stupid? Right. Yeah, but at least I can make an informed decision right here to go, I don't want to buy Tsushima because of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But as Mitch Ryan points out, Helldivers is an online game, and Ghost of Tsushima has a online mode. It is not necessary to play the game. That is.
Yeah, and that's what you were saying, Nerdigans, which is there's the single player and the multiplayer. So single player, you still get access to all of that core experience. So to me, it being sort of optional to the core experience is
Right.
less egregious than it being you cannot play this game at all unless we
There
say
is
so.
no way to play Helldivers without an online connection. That
Right.
is the central point to the game is co-op. So, but,
so then so from that moment, from the announcement, you know, players were in an uproar, understandably. They wanted refunds, they wanted answers, yada yada. Cider brought it up, but there is a lot of players took to the community Discord to try and get a hold of the community managers, get a hold of the team directly, say what's
Sony
going
was
on.
like, no takebacks.
Well, essentially, so this is how bad and just everybody here, like everybody in this situation fucked up, because the mod, a mod by the name of Spitz, was the first one to offer like an official response to these like complaints. And he basically offered do you not have phones? And I'm not even kidding. He literally replied to a user in the Discord who was like, this is bull, blah, blah, blah. And he went, oh, I'm sorry that this, you know, I don't know why it's a big deal now. This isn't like the first, third, or even 12th game to require another account. But if that's such a big deal to you, go ahead and ask for a refund. And it's like,
and they
what?
did.
And it was like, oh, okay, concern trolling, are we? Okay, whatever.
That's exactly what it was. And so then people started refunding, and people started refunding.
Spencer,
yeah,
500,000 people decided you got a good idea, Spitz, and they went and did that.
Yes, they did.
It got so bad. Steam, right? Steam said, you know what? We normally don't let you do refunds after 2 hours. We'll let you give back Helldivers after 100 hours of play.
Like they realized, oh yeah, we stepped in it this time. And so while all these players were requesting their refunds, they were also review bombing the game on Steam. The game went from insanely positive, one of the best reviewed games of all time, to the bottom of the barrel, immediately. There are you can go look at the Steam page now. You can go look at the article I wrote about the victory. The chart shows pretty good ratings, and then boom, just complete cratering after the announcement. So while this is going on, we start having
there was a meme and I love it. Hold on, I got a
which meme?
It's great. It's a meme.
Okay,
and I love it.
I presume he's grabbing it. But then
I got it.
You got it.
Yeah, it's on a Twitter page. So here we go. And okay, so here we go. Ready? Am I sharing it? I'm not sharing it. I am sharing it now. Nope. Okay. And ta-da. There, I did it right now. Finally. So here you go. Enjoy this.
I didn't even realize that you could the bars shrunk that low because the other bar was so big. I didn't put that together when I looked at it.
It gets better, right? It gets better. So this became a legit thing inside the community. So apparently somebody went out and designed a Helldiver cape that's based on that graph.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it looks like a dive. It's got the graphics of what a dive looks like. And this is based off the review that we just saw in that meme right here.
The CEO posted it on
yeah, they're all about it.
Yeah. So they're apparently working in a storyline that's related to this, where some type of corporate abuse happens and the Helldivers have to deal with this. So I love this. This is exactly what I recommended in the video I did about this. I said, you guys, you run your game like this giant bug movie, Starship Troopers. Yeah, it's like this abusive capitalist environment where you're sending these guys out there to have wars. They're not having it at home, and that's the big takeaway, is that it's an abusive capitalist environment. It's a capitalism gone awry, this sort of joke, this inside joke where, citizenship, war, soldiership guarantees citizenship, that kind of thing. Managed democracy. Kind of thing. We're bringing democracy to those bugs, that kind of thing. So this whole corporate abuse thing feeds right into what Super Earth is exactly marketed as. And I'm so
100%.
glad they said we have an opportunity here.
Yes. So for those who don't know the entire context of what Cider is saying, in terms of the corporate backstabbing, the corporate overreach, I was touching upon this a second ago, but with Spitz, when he gave that completely tone deaf answer. Eventually, we got confirmation from him later on. He has since been fired for understandable reasons, but he later confirmed that the devs themselves didn't know that they were going to turn that option back on. As far as Arrowhead was concerned, they were completely just going to keep on keeping on, let Steam be Steam. Yeah, just doing what they do. It was Sony who, out of nowhere, decided to come in and say, we're turning it back on. We're doing it. Sort of get over yourselves. And in support of that like claim, because like, yeah, we in this day and age, you know, never really trust anybody who sounds like they're completely in the right, because often they're not. But what lends credence to his claim is that if you go and look at all the communications about this stuff, it's all coming from Sony. It's not coming from anybody at Arrowhead. If you go look at the actual announcement for that you're going to have to link accounts, it is literally from the Sony Interactive Entertainment team, not Arrowhead. So it is completely, somebody said it in the chat, it was Sony wanting to play Big Brother. Now, we don't know why they went for this. Obviously, I speculated a little bit ago that it was for money reasons, you know, get people into the ecosystem. But if I'm going if I want to give my real theory on it, to me, it is just control. They are seeing people play with a game and it is a game they don't really like support. It's not really giving them all the money. They don't get to push their messages in it like whatsoever. So they go, oh, you're all liking this, especially the quote unquote like chud gamers, right? Especially, you know, people like in our sphere who they have written off because we're all racists or bigots or whatever. The chuds are enjoying the game. So we got to, you know, make sure we have a grip on it. And that's why that's why their main reasoning was, we want to be able to ban people easier. That to them is, you know, ban the people who make a bad joke, you know, clean up all of this so that it aligns with all of our other like offerings. So it is to me, I think it's a temper tantrum. It is Sony going, why not us? Why don't you like us? Don't you want to play God of War Ragnarok for the 90th time? Like, they can't stand when they have a direct like when they are getting kicked in the face by something they own. So from there, in the face of all of these review bombs, in the face of all of these refunds, Sony got hit in the wallet right where it hurt. And eventually they announced on Monday, or I think not even Monday, like Sunday, that they would
Sunday night at midnight, Sunday, exactly, like the time of the business world.
Right, yeah, like literal, like try to flash it under the radar. But yeah, come Sunday at midnight, they announced, never mind. And you know, they tried to frame it as like, oh yeah, we hear you. Never mind, players, we're not going to do it. And it's like, it's a victory. I'm not even going to deny that it is a victory. Like it. I've been loving all of Cider's videos about it. I love that intro. I've seen it before. But it, like, how often do we get arguably one of the worst, if not the worst, like anti-consumer company in the Western video game industry to capitulate? And the only thing that sort of the only water I would sort of throw on this entire debate or like victory is that while it's exciting, like we definitely won. I got stuck on that question a couple days ago. Like, how often do you get the multinational jackass to bend the knee? And it's like, you don't. So why did they do it here? What makes them bend the knee? And it's getting hit in their wallet. With all those refund requests coming in, they were actively losing money. It was getting taken away from them. So as soon as that happened, they went, okay, now we have to do something. So on one hand, it shows that, yes, we as consumers still do have power. We can still vote with our wallets. We can still make our voices heard. But on the other, it shows that that is what it takes right now for us to get our way. And it shouldn't be that way, right? It should just be, we are looking out for the players. And while you see individual devs doing that, Larian Studios, for example, Arrowhead Games, for example, all the publishers, they're not having it. I mean, we just went over Stellar Blade last week, where that got censored, even though it got printed and delivered out uncensored, right? Like all the print copies of that disc have the original uncensored outfits and the graffiti and everything. So take your victory lap, but also like the war is not over. It's kind of just what I want to keep going back to.
Oh, sure. We do have some good news in the chat, though.
Good news in the chat. YouTube Me says, sweet, I had to leave because got a call. Just got a new job, and it's me doing what I have done for 25 years prior to coming to Australia. Sweet. Hey, congratulations, YouTube Me. I know you've been having, or like, not like in a bad way, but like you've been in and out and busy the past couple of weeks trying to like make things happen. So congratulations. I know you were military before. Is it something military related? I have no idea. I mean, not like actually working in the military. Like maybe he works at like a surplus store now, or maybe he's like a fitness instructor. I don't know. I wasn't saying like, give me your clearance codes.
Spencer, maybe they hired him to redesign this god awful Superman costume.
Oh, please. Yeah, this is such a good closer. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, our very first look. Oh, I think I'm pointing it the wrong way. Yeah, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, our very first look at the at David Corenswet's version of Superman as to be portrayed in James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie. And I don't know about you guys, but this sucks. I am like a zero. I don't like anything in this photo. So to me, I like one thing in this photo. Let me rephrase. I like the spit curl. I'm glad that the spit curl is back. That looks pretty good on him. But I have two very major issues with this costume and this image. One, stop with the MCU lines. Oh my God. I don't know. For all the bullshit that the previous DCEU like gave us, they didn't really do this. The worst it got was like Zachary Levi's first Shazam costume. And then they cleaned that up for the next one. And he was totally in just like a normal unitard. This MCU line bullshit needs to stop. I know Saito's going to have a take on it because he told it to me, but as far as I'm concerned, like just stop with the MCU lines. They don't do anything. They don't make it look cool. They're just unnecessary and they overcomplicate it. Second, this is an awful image to put up if you're trying to communicate this is Superman, right? So to me, and I would imagine to a majority of Superman fans or comic book fans, media fans, Superman is that like archetypal. He will rush into danger. He wants to help you. He is always waiting to be like the good person, to rush into battle. He will save you. He will put himself in defense of Earth, no matter what it takes. He, you know, if he's walking with Lois and he hears a gunshot, he'll shoot off real quick, switch into his costume, catch the bad guy, and then land right back next to Lois before she even knows. This image shows me a Superman who's like he's putting on his costume with all of the gravitas and emotion of me when I realize like, oh, I forgot to take the trash cans out and it's 1 a.m. Fuck, I gotta like put on clothes. Okay, grumble. So like to me, this is like Superman is tired or he's just like not interested in saving the world. And like this to me is like a pissy teenager Superman. Oh, it's not my problem. I'm tired. I'm just going to put on my boots, whatever. Instead of like I have to go. Like there's a giant entity, whether it's Solaris, the sun or whatever, like something is happening and it didn't just start. Like it's clearly a fight. So why is Superman not immediately already rushing over there? It's just, I don't know what tone Gunn is trying to communicate here, but to me, it reeks of MCU of like, we don't really take this seriously. Isn't taking things seriously so stupid? Gosh, Superman has to suit up again.
I guess you could parlay it into this. It's like,
yeah,
what would possess anyone to think that we're gonna somehow get a serious Superman movie out of James Gunn? Who thought that was even going to be a possibility, knowing exactly the type of content that he does in this Superman here? It's like, let's be very honest. This is a polished turd that Warner Brothers is hoping that they can at least sell before next year. So that way it can be like, oh yeah, we got James Gunn doing DC movies. You want to buy our company and take up our $45 billion debt that we still have?
That they still have.
Man of Steel 2 for this. This is what Man of Steel 2 died for. This, I'm gonna salty about not having Man of Steel 2.
I don't necessarily need a Man of Steel 2, but this is what we lost Cavill for was whatever we're looking at here. And it's just like, not this ain't it, Chief, as the kids used to say. Yeah. But no, like, I don't think the hope was ever that we were going to get like a super serious, I don't think anybody thought we were going to get like a serious movie out of James Gunn. I think what the hope was that we would at least get like like, given what he's done with like the Guardians and stuff, we'd get a good, like, respectful take on Superman. But from what I'm seeing here, that's not what's happening. There's nothing Superman about this image, right? And like, so other people were trying, I talked to a few other people and they were going, oh, you see the burn on his chest? He's taking off his costume. Like, he's done fighting for the day. And I'm like, there is literally the end of the world happening. Superman doesn't just like take a break. He goes out and he fights it. Like, what are
Don't
we
worry,
doing
guys.
here?
I'll come back after I have my Jersey mics.
Yeah, like that's exactly what it is. And it's just like this. It sucks because that's not Superman, and it's also just more of the same nihilistic, no hope. Isn't this all stupid stuff we've been getting from every superhero film? This is Thor: Love and Thunder. Like that's the gravity I get.
I want to just take a minute and we'll zoom out and say, let's just pay attention to what James Gunn is showing us rather than how we feel about it.
Yeah.
So as pointed out by Leslie Tarkin, the colors featured in the laser blast are very trans flag-esque.
No.
And so we know the engineer is one of the antagonists, and that in the comics, the engineer does not remain an antagonist. My guess is that this is one of her laser blast situations, and he's just finished fighting some other character. Looks to be Livewire, judging by the burns on the suit. I would guess it was Livewire, because that seems like James Gunn's motif that he would bring out. He would pull down there. Yeah, and he would do that. So my guess is that the engineer has shown up and fired this laser as Superman is getting home from being shocked and having a very rough day. This is James Gunn's idea of funny, is that Superman is sitting here and he has taken his clothes off. He's like, oh man, I can't wait to get to my Jersey Mike's in the fridge. You know, and he's just relaxing, and then right out the window, you know, and this is James Gunn. Yeah,
that
exactly.
Happened.
And he looks over his shoulder like, you know, and of course, Superman, being faster than a speeding bullet, gets there to stop the laser just in time, right? And that'll be the joke, is that he was just like, I was just about to have my Jersey Mike's, or whatever the joke is, right? In the background, there'll be some dumb music or whatever. But the big takeaway in this movie, I can already feel it right now. The reason why they chose that S isn't because they wanted to be different from Cable's Superman and different from Legacy Superman. It's because they wanted to evoke a Superman that's had enough. The reason why they've filled these, it just shows me right here, the whole motif. Right? The whole takeaway from this, look at how that suit fits him. The whole takeaway from this is that the clown car of casting they've done is everybody convinces Superman to stay Superman. He's convinced that he's had enough. Look at this. This is a tired Superman. This is not a Superman standing on top of a building, holding a flag at the sunrise, greeting the day with all the American way he can muster. It isn't. It's a man that's like, damn it, I just wanted my sandwich. You know, and he's over being the man of steel. He's done with it. And I'm gonna guess that's what the movie's all about. Even Lex Luthor will probably come out of the woodwork at the end and say, Superman, I can't be Lex Luthor unless you're Superman. Please, you have to stay the hero of Metropolis. And I'm guessing that's the end of it.
You know what?
I could just see it right now with how James Gunn views superheroes.
One, I think it's going to happen because as viewers of this show know, I consider Cider to have some awful premonition, like corporate premonition powers. Like he has that
Bob
insight
into head.
Yeah, he's right in there because like every time he predicts something, it comes true. So I definitely hear that, and it's just like, oh man, like that is the thing that like. What clicked in my head when you were talking is like the original title of this movie was Superman Legacy. So like what others like that seems like an appropriate title for a story about a character who is looking to give it up, who is done with this, who is like, I don't know anymore. Yeah. And that is
supposed to be younger though than Cavill's Superman.
Who knows what he's doing with this movie anymore? James Gunn has gone back like 900, like every time he says something about his projects, he immediately torpedoes it the next day. Like, oh yeah, the Flash resets everything. Oh no, the Flash doesn't reset Shazam and Blue Beetle. Oh, actually, it resets Shazam, but Blue Beetle, that's still canon. Oh well, the movie's not canon, but the character is still around. Oh no. This is the first superhero is going to be Superman, whatever. Blah 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 blah. And like
this still confuses me. Okay, this still confuses me.
Was that the AI one?
Well, I don't even know if it was AI. Was it, or was it?
I don't know. I was asking. That's just what I heard.
Yeah, because well, again, I didn't know because James Gunn said it was fake, and then we see what he actually chucked out, and so it makes me wonder where this came from. Because if we have it, certainly Hollywood has AI, and that saves a lot of time trying to fit a costume to a guy where you can just AI his face onto a suit that you generated in an image, right? Yeah. And then you take a look at this thing. You look at this costume, and it looks like a nice cosplay costume, right? You would see this somewhere.
It looks really good.
Right. They might call it Super Body Type 1, yeah. and so
I like that.
You take a look at this, you know, there's some notable problems. It would be his male gizmos and gadgets would definitely need some CGIing to, you know, be safe for families. That juts out quite a bit there. But then you take a look at this. And this is what makes my brain go, maybe that was real, but not real at the same time. James Gunn is right that it's fake in that it was AI generated by the studio and somebody with the flash drive got it out on the internet. Because this suit looks way too close to that AI muck-up that he said was fake last year. It looks way too close to it. It almost seems like they're trying to avoid...
got like on point.
Right, and the thing is too is that take a look at the boots. When you look at the boots on the other suit too, they're the pointed boots. They're the pointed Superman boots.
Oh, see? Yeah, they got the little cut in there.
And he has the belt on.
And he has the belt.
We'll go back over to the other image, and it almost seems like James Gunn was like, crap. And he went out and he just drug a Guardian suit off and spray painted it and threw that S on there like an Etsy sticker. And he's like, Curtis Sweat, just go take a photo with this. Somebody take a picture of this asshole putting his boots on. And he's like, that's Superman, everybody. Not that thing you saw in the internet. Of course not.
This is my totally original cool Superman. And I over-designed it because that makes it cool.
And James Gunn for the past 2 years has been ass mad with anybody who's questioning his vision. He has been like locked in Twitter debates with even Grace Randolph about what's going on. So my guess is that he went and put this image out and he says, ha, this is going to get all those guys to think one way about this. And then I'm going to surprise them with this fancy dancy, like 1950s Superman suit. And they're going to love me for it because I usurped their expectations.
He's trying to troll everyone. That's what he's trying to do, huh?
It feels like that, but I still lean into his movie's going to be about a Superman that's had it.
That's what my takeaway is. Now that you've raised it, like everything just sort of makes sense from what we know. So like we know, like Nerdigan said, Gunn was like, oh, this is supposed to be a younger Superman at a younger point in his career other than Cavill. And it's like, then we also know that there are all the superheroes are supposed to be in it. The rumors claim that the plot is that something happens that like all the superheroes go to like try and stop something, and Superman shows up and he sort of has to play the mediator and like guide them through and be like, I'm Superman, this is what we do. So all of that combined with the title, combined with this image, combined with everything Sider just said, it's either going to be a full movie about a Superman who's had it, or it starts with like, here's young optimistic Superman, cut like after the title card to 10 years into his career and he's tired of it.
Right, he's like, drinking at the bar like Superman 4 Quest for Peace.
Yeah, like that. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, like I could see that, like where it's like it starts right where Smallville ended, or like maybe a few years after Superman's career started, like after Smallville ended, and then like we see his career going and he's starting to get overwhelmed by everything of all the responsibilities he's taking on, and then like including like all the villains he's having to fight and all that, and then see him like break down like this here. I feel like
I can see that too. I can see that too.
that would make sense. And then on that journey, he'll realize like why he's doing it.
Yep.
Because when you
That's
take
James
on
Gunn.
so much responsibility
Gunn.
like that, you'll you end up being so burnt out, you forget like what your purpose is. So I feel like it's kind of that kind of hero's journey.
And like, so I think that could, both of you, like both of those ways, like I think could lead to him being, all in all, I think we are going to see like a sad, like I'm over it Superman. Like that is, I think that's pretty guaranteed. But as far as like, oh yeah, I'm not sure where like because it's just the timeline placement. I have no idea what they're trying to do with this timeline. And then like, or go ahead.
Guys, remember he said that the whole Gunverse gets restarted through this movie. There's no Cable, there's no DCEU, there's no Wonder Woman, there's no Beetle. None of it mattered. Remember, he told us Superman Legacy restarts everything. Flash got the universes broken. That was his excuse, lore-wise, to restart with Superman Legacy. This Cable does not matter anymore. The whole battle with Steppenwolf doesn't matter anymore. That is an entirely separate universe that we saw Flash skippity-doo-dying through.
But Smallville is still canon, though, because Smallville was not part of the DCEU, technically. Or
Actually, if you want to get technical, it was, because actually, Ezra Miller's Flash crosses over with the Flash TV show, and the Flash TV show crosses over with Smallville. So technically, it's all related.
It's true. He's right. But Hands Me in HDS, he says, is this what White Man Good? And this is what I wanted to get to. I kind of got lost in the sauce. You notice the trans colors on the laser beam. That's probably coming from the engineer. Right. And so my guess is that she's going to be a they-them allegory. She is not going to have... she's not going to have she, her pronouns. She's going to have they, them pronouns.
1000%.
That's why her energy color scheme will be reminiscent of the flag. So it will not be that. This will be the teachable moment for Superman in the movie, is that he will have to learn to accept her and them. And that'll be his tripping point. Is that I'm just a farm boy from Kansas. You'll forgive me if I'm not familiar with these new ways of how people define themselves. Would you be so kind as to educate me? And there you go. That's his moral lesson for the story.
You think at some point during this whole adventure that Kevin Costner is going to show up as Clark Kent's dad from another universe and be like, "How did I get here?"
Right. Stop doing that.
As long as
I was in a tornado last time I was here.
As long as Schneider shows up too, and he's like, "Would you believe that my son threw me out of a building?"
Wait, Jacob. It's like you know how in No Way Home, all the villains are like, I got teleported here right before I died or whatever. That's what happens to his dad. So he shows up with his pose with his hand out, and he's like, how did I get here? I got randomly jumped over. They actually
look a lot like my son.
but you're doing heroic things. That's not how I taught him. Who are you?
Spencer Insider it just makes you think, okay, maybe that's why Sunset or Netflix had Sunset made the villains of Gundam look like activists, look like pink.
Right. Yeah, right. It does. It just, the brain boggles at what they're trying to do here with this grand scheme again.
Mm-hmm.
And like, why are they making? You gotta wonder, why are they making them villains all of a sudden? Like,
well, that's just like, we've talked about this before. The trans activists and everything, they latch onto the absolute worst pieces of representation. It is always like villains. It is always people who have been severely abused. It is always people who like got medically castrated and changed. Like, it is never anything positive.
It's always
like,
some kind of horrific trauma that they're trying to relive through another character, which is like, I don't think you're realizing you're telling the story that you're thinking you're telling. It's like, basically you're telling everyone, it's like every single one of you has some kind of horrific childhood that you're trying to revive.
It reminds me.
It was so scary, dude, when like when the Dark Knight came out and people were like, I identify with the Joker, and I was like, the fuck you do? What are you talking about? That guy carved holes in his face. You are nowhere near that. Don't pretend for a minute you are that close to
the
crazy.
Joker,
He's
baby.
just like me.
Yeah, that was
me.
terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
I resonate. We live in a society. Like, yeah, you do. Don't blow anything up, though, man. Just pay your taxes and, don't double park.
And so like the one thing I did want to bring up is just for context for everybody who isn't really familiar with her character. Like the engineer is a human infected by like a bioorganic material that physically changes her into like a machine persona and then unchanges her back. So like
oh my god,
everything Cider is saying it's 1,000% like lining up. It is and like I think Cider hit it right on the head there. I don't think they're gonna go outright and say like, oh, that's a trans character, right? We're gender sexuality swapping, whatever you want to call it. But I think that it will be an allegory. I think you are like 100% spot on. And it will definitely be they them. I'm like 90% sure they're going to make the engineer.
I'm part machine now, Superman. I don't identify as a human. My consciousness is in binary. There is no way for me to identify with male or female, as my thinking doesn't respect biological restrictions anymore.
And like Superman will either have to learn acceptance or he'll be like, oh, I'm an alien too. I get that. It's weird. No big deal.
How about both at the same time? He's like, I'm an alien, so I want to understand this way of thinking because it's alien to humans and I'm fed up with them.
Right.
Gundam. And they got that mecha fans have other things to worry about. You have plenty of options, and other hero stuff have plenty of fans have plenty of options.
Gunn didn't realize what he was putting out in the world with that picture. That's just, he didn't realize it. He thought he was going to dunk on everybody with, ha, you don't know what's happening.
That is literally,
we can tell.
That is literally what I was going to say is like, he thinks that he dropped that and he went, ha, so cheeky. Like, I'm going to laugh. But one, we all see through it. And two, like, we can tell, like, not only can we see through it, like we all just broke down, like the four of us, but like, we can all tell that's what you're doing. And we can all, like, nobody wants that sort of attitude anymore of the haha, I'm intentionally going to piss people off. So you start off with that and it's just, you've already gotten off on the wrong foot.
Subverting their expectations.
I hate that word.
Article about the about Hades 2 with the subverting freaking horny crap.
I mean, that's their only argument nowadays, is that the only way to be unique or to make something memorable is you have to subvert, and because you can't build upon what came first. You can't be creative. You have to
first of all, you guys aren't even good at basic storytelling, let alone trying to subvert basic storytelling at that. It's like you guys are trying to like do like advanced calculus before you figured out what 2 + 2 is.
And once again, I have to remind you guys, this is a clown car of a movie. You have 8 different like B and D list superheroes in this movie that you have to like bring normie audiences up to speed on. Nobody knows who the fuck Guy Gardner is, all right? Even people who watched the Justice League cartoon that had him come and go from it, even people who watched the Green Lantern cartoon barely know who the hell this character is. You have a lot of heavy lifting to explain here.
The engineers from the Authority. Even like most comic book fans didn't read the Authority.
They didn't even know that Wildstorm was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a gay Superman? What do you say? What?
What?
Apollo? Yeah, exactly. And this is the whole thing, is that Gunn has so much heavy lifting to explain who these heroes are so that you care about them when anything happens in this movie, that the majority of it's going to be, this is this person, this is this person, this is that person, this is their relationship to Superman, and this is why they care about Superman today, end credits.
And like, he obviously thinks he can do that because he did the Guardians films, right? So he's like, oh, I introduced all those characters. And the Suicide Squad, I did it, blah, 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 blah. But there are literally, like Cider said, not only are there like 8 superheroes, there's Lex, there's Lois, there's Jimmy. These are characters.
Kent.
Right. Those are characters that are going to persist in either sequels or the greater universe. So you've got to get them in there too. So in my head, the only way I can even see him addressing all of this stuff is to just throw it out and go like, yeah, don't worry about it. And that's not going to like work. That's just going to make everything more confusing. So good luck. I don't know. Like, I have no hope for this film.
It's sad because we all had hope for it when he announced it. And then it just, I think the moment that he
Well,
I think the moment he said Cavill was gone was when it just went downhill.
No, I was the second you announced James Gunn. I was like, yeah.
I unfortunately, Nerdigans, I got to be with Jacob on this one. The second they said Gunn is in charge of everything, I went, oh, we are in doom zone. Like, this is not going to work.
Imagine
out well.
the soundtrack.
It's going to be the mom joke from Suicide Squad for like 2 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, like, I expect like Superman's theme song under James Gunn to be something made by the remaining Beastie Boys and the Mongolian throat singers. That's I just don't, there's no way to know what this guy's going to try and characterize Superman as. He just flatly has not demonstrated an ability to produce a serious character.
No.
And while Superman has his moments of levity, that character is a moral-driven character. And when you put a guy like James Gunn who's like, I am the memester. I know all the memes. Allow me to make a bunch of Nambla jokes that I'm going to kind of apologize about. And that's the guy you make the guy in front charge of Superman? I don't know where to put this. I don't know what to expect out of it. Maybe DC thought that was a good idea, but
they definitely did.
Well,
because you look at.
You're talking about the same DC that had Ezra Miller, so
it's true. It's true. So
I mean, you also look at Gunn's previous protagonists, like you have Star-Lord, you have Bloodshot from Suicide Squad. Those characters, Peacemaker. Those characters are the kind who are like, they are ready, like they will wave off sort of their duty, right? Like they understand, like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, forget this. Like, I care more about my survival than I care about any of that. And that sort of is what Gunn plays into, the reluctant hero, the hero who, the rogue. And that's not, like what Sider was saying, that's not Superman. Superman is your paladin. Superman is your leader. Like he is the first one on the scene, and he is the last one to, clean up all the rubble. So
the Boy Scout.
Yeah, a Boy Scout. Or no, sorry, it's Scouting of America's now. All right.
That's true.
We have to be completely inclusive. But yeah, I'm with you, Cider. I don't know what he's trying to do with this. I don't really trust him to handle Superman well. And if we get even a single, like, well, that happened sort of moment out of Superman, I'm going to riot. I'm going to, I'm going to throw my popcorn bucket at the screen. But yeah,
popcorn bucket that you're gonna get,
$50 popcorn bucket. That's fine. You know what? Because I'll throw popcorn buckets at James Gunn, and I'll throw lasers at Sony for their awful treatment of Helldivers players. Because you know what? Fire away, Cider. Beautiful. The O.R.C.A strikes again. But yes, guys, with the O.R.C.A blast, with the discussion of James Gunn's whatever he's doing with Superman, we are 20 minutes past end time, and I think this is a perfect spot to wrap up. So as always, guys, thank you for joining us on another Wednesday night for another 01 stream. As always, it was incredibly fun. It's always a pleasure to talk to every single one of you who shows up. Leslie, Hey, Me in HD, Eccentric Banana, DC3, Volume Dealer, everybody else who showed up
here as well.
Yeah, Referral was here for a while. RJ, obviously. Where's I totally am blanking on his name, but he was here throughout most of the stream, but I know he left. Oh yeah, Yi Ching, he was here for a while. Reeve was here. Andrew, thank you guys so much for showing out. Obviously, we love talking to you, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you, and we hope we continue doing this in the future. Obviously, we will. I don't know why I said that. Like, this is the last show. That was super weird. But before we get out of here, as always, I will give everybody a chance.
You know that we don't know.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. The O.R.C.A is flying. We're all good. O.R.C.A's flying better than ever because of these three. We're doing great. I'm just a giant moron. But yes, before we get out of here, I will let you know what they've got going on, starting with Jacob. And I pointed the right way this time.
For once. So
really?
Go check out last night's episode of the Ballroom Podcast. We talked about the Drake situation, did a little bit about Victoria Justice, and we went over the trailer for what could possibly be the worst film of 2024, even though we're only like 5 months in. This film is very, very bad. It's called Babes. Go check out that reaction from last night's show. Sunday, I'm going to be doing the next episode of the Bible Lens podcast. We're going to be talking about the enemies of dispensationalism and very interesting trend that I've noticed over the last several weeks about those people. So we'll talk about that on Sunday. And then I got the Planet of the Apes movie I'm going to be reviewing tomorrow. So that should be out on Friday for that one on the YouTube channel, and a couple other things going on too. So we'll circle around and we'll have some stuff ready to go.
Awesome. And yeah, guys, check out his Bible Lens podcast. I'm giving a special shout out to his Bible Lens podcast because he's been killing it. The subjects have been amazing, and I know it's been seeing some like insane growth. So definitely check it out. It is a good show. Like, and that, again, that's coming from someone who is not particularly religious. Like, I am recommending it. He has really good thoughts. So check it out. Check out all of his stuff. But before you do, let's hear from Nerdigans. What do you have going on, our friend?
Well, when I'm not dealing with a naughty kitty, I'm
Whoa. Age rating.
Well, my cat is being bad. He's sitting on my PS4 and attempting to knock things over.
I like that cat.
Framing.
That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Phrasing.
No, he's a bad cat. You shouldn't be doing that. You know better, Zeno.
Well, it's fighting Sony.
Taking it to the streets. What do you got going on, Nerdigans? Where can we find you?
I cover anime and manga content every day on my YouTube channel, Nerdigans Inc. I've been pleasantly surprised by quite a few of my one of my older articles going viral, thanks to Daramion speaking out about Orange's new AI program coming out. So that was a pleasant surprise. And then the Disney article went viral, and a few of my tweets have gone viral just for asking a question about the comparison between Hades and Stellar Blade's IGN reviews. So I've been dealing with that and getting trolled because of that. Then there's of course the Games Radar article about Hades safe horny stuff. I don't know if Spencer wants me to cover it or someone else is going to cover it, but we'll see what's going down with that. But anyways, other than that, I'm going to be hunting down more anime stories. I have to look into this one story from one of the people that was working on the Ren and Stimpy reboot. It was a Facebook post that was deleted, apparently, but
I know what that post is.
You know what? Yeah, I have it. But
we got it. We got to look into that. I'm not positive on that one yet. We need to find sources on that one.
I haven't proposed it yet because I'm very curious. Something just went down with it, and it just seems really, really off.
My problem with that story, Nerdigans, because like you and I are probably on the same bent. It's just like it seems too good to be true. So like we got to hear a little bit more. But yeah, you're on the right track.
But we'll keep hunting and keep investigating. And I'm looking into more localizers' response to the Orange announcement, because I would like to do an article on that if I can find enough. But it's been quiet on that front, surprisingly. It's usually not. But anyways, stay tuned and make sure you follow us on Twitter, which is right there. Our Twitter handle is right there. But anyways, I got to go get that cat off my desk before he knocks something else over.
Death to Sony.
Well, Godspeed, Nerdigans. Don't knock over your PS4, because then how will you play superior games? Cider, your turn. I know that's better anyway.
Just tune into the channel here. We're doing lots of stuff. As you know, 01's evolving, and we're also putting out videos all the time. Tomorrow, Brett R. Smith is interviewing Graham Nolan about his new comic books, as well as what the history of Bane was and what inspired it. So, him, rather, not it. And so feel free to tune in for that tomorrow morning when it goes live. That's a pre-recorded interview, so you can tune into it whenever you like. It'll be premiering here, though, in the morning. See you then.
Beautiful. And yeah, guys, honestly, check out everybody's work here. Bounding into Comics is doing better than ever right now because of all their work. Special shout out to Cider in particular. He the video end has really been taking off lately. Cider's fine, like he knows what you guys want to hear. You're responding well. I'm glad you finally know what we all know, which is that Cider is the man when it comes to this. So shout out there. Jacob's obviously killing it with all of his reviews and his articles, and honestly being like the best what do you call it? Like front man for us on the internet. So, and then Nerdigans, obviously our anime girl, without her work, we wouldn't be as successful as we are, because obviously she's got that in with anime, and that's how we get amazing story. We find those deeper dive stories like the Disney Plus Japan one. So they're all killing it. Subscribe to everything they're doing. It's all worthwhile. As for me, guys, yes, as always, check out boundingintocomics.com every single day. We've got articles coming out regularly, all the time. There's always something to read there. I've got some stuff up earlier today. I'm going to be working on a couple articles about the One Piece rumors that we talked about earlier, looking through more of the Microsoft Xbox layoffs. Apparently there's a whole bunch more stuff that dropped out of that. So that's what I'll be covering. If you want to see more of me personally, you can find me right there on Twitter at KabutoWriterMav. If you want to come back next week, same bat time, same bat channel for another episode of the 01 stream, we will be here Wednesday night at 9 p.m. to break down all of the biggest entertainment news from the past week. Obviously, Josh is not here tonight. Don't worry, guys. Nothing bad. He just had like an event to go to that just the schedules ran.
Literally died doing something gay.
He literally died. Literally died. But he'll probably be back next week. But yeah, you can check us out for next week's show. If you want more of me before then, you can go to my YouTube channel, Studio Kabuto, where every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I host a live stream, The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, where I have a casual conversation with you guys about all the nerdy topics we like to talk about. Sometimes we'll do deeper dives into topics that might not get discussed around our sphere. So if that sounds up your alley, come on down, come hang out. I'd love to have you. And yeah, until then, I think that's all we've got. Stay beautiful, stay diligent, say goodbye to Zeno, and take it easy. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Here's the trailer for next week's episode of 01.